flip phone, just like Spider-Man. All right, let's see here. What am I doing? Hello, Camden Walker. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see, what is going on here? I'm trying to remember how I did this last time, where I had everything. Thank you very much for liking the flip phone, everybody tuning in. Thank you, Anthony. Yeah, my audio dramas, hey, if you're looking for a great audio drama to listen to, and you haven't already, check out the original Star Wars radio dramas. I think it was the BBC or some company that did it. Fantastic. Better than the movies, even. Mark Hamill actually plays himself. You can find those, at least when I did a couple years ago, I'm pretty sure they're still there, on the Internet Archive website. Oh, they're phenomenal. Do I want to hold hands during the D23 presentation, asks the Bat Boy. Yes, although I had the schedule up for the D23 stuff, and I don't know if there's really much happening until like 7 p.m., so like 2 hours from now, if that's anything. That it's just called Disney Entertainment, so who knows what that's even about. Let's see. I thought there was a way to view the chat on OBS, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe I was just doing it on the YouTube app, or the YouTube window. All right, so God, I got too much stuff on here. I don't really know what this control panel is. It's just giving me numbers. I don't want numbers, I want letters. All right, hello, Yanni. And Ryan, and of course, Deckies. Thank you for the flip phone compliment again. And Ian is here. Hello, everyone. Hello. Let's see. Uh-oh. What happened? Something has... Oh, there we go. Mm-hmm. Oh, here we go. I can do a pop-out chat. You like watching me try to figure out how to use a computer? All right, I don't need to see the playback. I need somewhere to put the chat so I can read it, and then I need to see my gosh dang notes. Okay. Here we go. Everybody ready? We're all good? You can hear me? Hello, Johnny boy. Oh, Johnny boy. That's Danny boy. So, let's see here. I'm just so worried that something has gone wrong and I'm unaware. All right. Okay, let me see here. Let's see if I can do this in one take. I feel like I'm gonna mess up. Hey everybody, Blake T. Wilde here, and welcome back to the Comic Schtick Podcast, the podcast where comics are my shtick. There we go, I messed it up. As always, we are discussing things pretty close to comic books. I was going to discuss some stuff involving comic books, the actual things that you flip through with pages and whatnot, but then I decided to get rid of it just because I wasn't that interested, and it'll come up in a couple months. So pretty much all of this is going to be... Yeah, I'm looking at the list. It is all movies-related stuff. So, if you are listening to this after it has come out, or if you're watching it on Smokey's Comic Vault, feel free to check out the YouTube channel and subscribe for more comic-based podcasts where I just sort of fumble my way through about an hour. Yeah, talking to myself usually, but today, since this is a live episode, I have a wonderful chat room who is following along diligently, taking notes, fact-checking me, I'm sure, and waiting for me to mess up. Because they all want to see me fail. I know you do. You like to see me suffer. That's why you want me to do all those freaking stupid comic books. That's why you made me do Spider-Man Brand New Day. We're not talking about the bad Brand New Day. We're talking about the pretty good Brand New Day today. We are discussing so much. It's honestly quite a lot. So I don't know. Who knows how long this one will come out, though. I already need some water. I stole my wife's giant, what is this? Stanley cup. Because every time I do one of these live streams, I do not have enough water. And you guys just get me jabbering along. Yes, thank you, Aaron, for noticing I am clean shaven. My face is all dry because I didn't shave. So, how's everybody doing? Well, the day that this is being recorded, that it's airing, is the first day of D23. I'm actually going to look up the D23 schedule. I was trying to do schedule, but I was also trying to say it the normal way, so that did not work out. Yes, the Bat Boy, thank you. The T in Blake T. Wilde does stand for torture. Or tortured, rather. So what even happened today at D23? I don't think it was much that was interesting. There was a Simpsons Stories from Springfield panel that maybe someone recorded. I'd like to check that one out just because I am still a fan of The Simpsons, if you couldn't tell from the DVD box sets up here and the movie. That's that one. I wrote it like at the beginning of the year. 5 Simpsons comic episodes. And I want to do this big thing. Here's a spoiler. A big project where I went through like the seasons leading up to the Simpsons movie. And I was like, what works and what doesn't to make a concrete ending for the Simpsons, that being the first Simpsons movie. So expect that probably sometime next year, maybe once the Simpsons, the new Simpsons film, as it's titled, will be releasing, which is around September. There's a Marvel fanfare thing, Bob's Burgers, Disney Dreamlight Valley. It's a video game my wife likes to play. There's doesn't seem like much, specifically not much that like we can talk about. They showed off like the Vision Quest suit. Anything else? I don't know. Yes, Ryan, I do have the Homer head box. That is the original. I actually own 2 Homer head boxes because earlier this year when I was going through The Simpsons and having like a mental breakdown, be like, I need to own Simpsons stuff. That'll make me feel better. It was cheaper to buy a giant lot of like the Simpsons DVD box sets, because I had like maybe 5 or 6. One of them's like missing all of its stuff except for the discs and like the cover and everything. So I was like, I guess I'll just buy this. And of course, it came with another Homer head box, and reeked of cigarette smoke. That was not in the listing. So yeah, we got 2 hours. Oh my god, that is a 2-hour long panel. There's a 2-hour long panel. Disney Entertainment Showcase, which is what people seem to believe is like, it's gonna be Vision Quest, maybe Frozen 3 they're showing stuff out for, maybe The Simpsons, because I don't think that earlier one was about the movie. It kind of seems like something they just kind of bring people who work on the show to talk about. Anything could happen at the Disney Entertainment Showcase. This is why we need to get the I Need Some Disney podcast back up and running. Hopefully that'll start back up soon. I don't know. We'll see. They revealed Jim Hammond for Vision Quest, if that counts for anything. Jim Hammond. Is that Toro? Right? Or is that the original Human Torch? What's Toro's? Okay, that's the Human Torch. Interesting. You think it's going to tie in at all to the first Avenger film where he shows up, I think? Or is it a suit or something? What's going on in the chat? Ian, doing well. Had the opportunity to see this new Spider-Man movie back on Tuesday. Nice. I didn't see it until last week. It took quite a while. I did see Hades Town 3 times in the theaters, 2 of which were on the same day. I went to an 11 a.m. showing, and then I went home for about an hour. And then I win again. Let's see. Ian, my dad has one of those Homer figurines that dances if you press the button. I used to have a Homer Simpson that was dressed as Santa, and he was asleep on the couch, and when you pressed him, he'd make like, talking in his sleep. I loved that thing. I need to figure out where it is. I also have, well, once I get the office cleaned up, because it has just been a mess these past, 3 months since I did the Civil War event, I have a mixture of the Jack's Pacific and the... who was the original company that did the Simpsons toys 20 years ago? I have like a collection of those set up over here. And my prized possession is the McFarlane Lard Lad Donut guy, who goes for an exorbitant amount of money. This one came with the chain and a little tiny Homer who is headless. I don't know what happened to him. I used to have him up here, and maybe he ran away. But that is a big thing that I'd like to... I was very happy to finally find one of those for an affordable amount of money. The Homer phone was goated. I don't know what the Homer phone is. Tactical J asks, did I hear about the reviews for the Lantern show? People are saying it's really good. That doesn't surprise me. I'm looking forward to it. I'll probably do a commentary of it since I'm free this weekend, and that should be pretty easy to do. Much like I did for the, Peacemaker Season 2. That was a lot of fun. I don't know what it is about, me and finding more joy in, the DC shows than the Marvel stuff. Even though I pretty much almost exclusively cover Marvel at this point on the channel, mainly because it does better than the DC stuff, but that also might be because I keep covering it, so more Marvel people find it. I think I own more DC books. I think I'm more into DC, specifically the 60s and 70s. But, I am looking forward to Lanterns. Did my co-star unionize or something? No. Much like the real Disney, we do not allow unionization on the I Need Some Disney podcast. Decky says Frozen 3 details will be cool. After the concept art they had a few D23s ago, they did show the costumes for Anna and Elsa, as well as Olaf has a little vest now. Much like Finn. Much like Finn from the sequel trilogy, where he doesn't change at all. He just eventually gets a little vest and a new haircut. So too does Olaf get a little vest and a haircut. Am I excited for the Midnight Universe? Asks Mog Pounds. 124. Anticipating Midnight Fantastic Four. Okay, yeah, that is actually the comic aspect that I mentioned earlier that I was going to bring up, but then I was like, I'll just wait. I really truly have no idea what the Midnight Universe was until I was talking to someone about it today. I was like, I'll just Google this and see what comes up on the Wikipedia page. It seems interesting. I'm probably not going to pick them up. If anything, I'll go for the Fantastic Four one just because I'm into Lovecraft. It seems the most interesting. I learned that the X-Men, the Midnight X-Men, are vampires who are fighting... It's pretty much the story of X-Men, except instead of humans and mutants, they're vampires and mutant vampires called Empires. Spelled the same way as the 2020 event by Al Ewing. Empyres, if there's multiple of them. And I was like, what am I reading? And then the Spider-Man one, it's gonna be body horror, I guess. It's gonna be... if I want to see an evil Spider-Man, I'll go reread Luther Strode. But the Fantastic Four definitely seems the most interesting in terms of just a premise. I especially I've only seen the cover of the main book, but seemingly Galactus is an elder being, an old one, much like Cthulhu, if you're Alan Moore, that's how he pronounces it, or Cthulhu. I like that, he's like an octopus head, and they reformat the helmet of Galactus, with the arms that go out like that, into coral. It's a cool look. It's really, well designed. It's a neat redesign for the characters. I like how Ben is, bald and has goggles. And Doctor Doom just kind of looks like Doctor Doom. But if I do pick him up, that's probably going to be the one I pick up. One more note for the Midnight stuff is I noticed that the first 2 issues of each book are releasing on the same day, which is crazy. Imagine if they keep to that schedule. What do you think the first one is that gets delayed, that misses the monthly mark? You think it's Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, or what was the other one? X-Men. Hello, Vitillo 4. Nice to have you here. Welcome. Did I miss anything in the chat? The Homer phone, thank you for getting back to me, was an animated rotary phone that would wake you up when you picked up the receiver. It was him sleeping in a chair. Huh. Interesting. I don't know. I wanted to buy the Mo phone. I thought about it. I considered it. The Mo at the bar phone that just came out not too long ago. But I stopped myself because I don't have any place to put it. And over on that wall on that side of the room, I have the life-size evil Krusty doll in his box. So I'm good there. That's enough for me. I'm going to, I think, start moving into the the first topic of the discussion. Anthony K asks on the topic of Brand New Day, what's my interpretation of the ending? I will get to that. I got a lot of stuff to say about Brand New Day, if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail. But first topic of discussion, probably not going to be too long because it just came out and I don't want to talk about spoilers. The end of Oak Street. I saw it yesterday. I would have seen it earlier today, but here's the thing. My local theater, the one that I go to, I have a very specific seat that I like to sit in. It's a very specific row, and that's usually 3 to 4 rows from the screen. I think I talked about this last time I did a live episode. I probably bring it up way more than I should, but that is my favorite place to sit in a movie theater. However, for some reason, every single showing for the end of Oak Street today, there were 2 seats that were taken up right where I want to sit. Not right where I want to sit, but then I'd have to sit like 1 or 2 chairs down from other people, and that's also kind of the reason I sit so close to the screen is because no one else sits down there. But I was like, what the fuck is going on? Is there an error in the system, or did 2 people buy the same seats in all, 6 showings of this goddamn movie? Did they not know what time they could make it, so they just got 2 for each? What is happening? So I wound up seeing it yesterday. Everybody who's watching this, everybody who's listening in the future, whenever this comes out, and, whatever, hopefully this weekend, go and see the end of Oak Street. I was blown away. I thought it was fantastic. It is so much fun. It is so much more gruesome than I thought it would be for a PG-13 film. I checked it right before the movie started. I was like, what rating is this? And I saw PG-13 and I was disheartened. Boy, howdy, do they push what you can show for a PG-13 film. There is a lot of people getting eaten by dinosaurs. There's dinosaurs shitting. There's other stuff dinosaurs do that is crazy that they have on film. It is awesome. It's far better than any of the last 4 Jurassic World films. Although I do like the first one, it's still not great. I would much rather watch this than any of those Jurassic World movies. It's so well done. If you need any more incentive, if you're into horror, this is the writer and director of It Follows. Remember that film from 10, 15 years ago where it's like an allegory for STDs, and there's just this person who's following you. If they touch you, they kill you, and then they start going after the person who transmitted it to you. It's by him. He did It Follows, and he also has done the dinosaur time travel movie. And it's awesome. I cannot say enough good things about it. Please go see it because it is so well done. Ian brings up a great point, which is End of Oak Street kind of had Cloverfield vibes to me. Yeah, I kept seeing theories and rumors about that, and I was getting worried. Spoiler alert, it's not connected at all, which I think is great because, Cloverfield's a good movie. 10 Cloverfield Lane, I still haven't seen it. I own it. But I know it's a really well-done film. Then you get Cloverfield Paradox, and what we all worried after every single movie coming out after that, which is J.J. Abrams' bad robot company buys up scripts, erases some things, adds Cloverfield monster to it, and then releases it as a Cloverfield movie, which is what they did for Cloverfield Paradox. That was not supposed to be in the Cloverfield universe. but they changed some stuff to make it so. And I was really worried that that would happen to this. Thankfully, it is entirely standalone. It is only an hour and a half. And it, like, the first 30, 40 minutes is so well done. Just like the build-up and like the time traveling element. If there was another hour of this family that is comprised of Anne Hathaway, Ewan McGregor, and two teenage actors that I've never heard of before, I would gladly watch another hour of them just living their like mundane but sadly realistic lives. It's such a touching film that it really delves into like the human condition and like, you know, the tribulations of marriage and like family relationships and having like teenagers and how do you parent, you know, once they start becoming so independent. It's so well done. And it really made me feel like I was watching like a Stephen King adaptation or something. And I am quite disappointed that there's not a novel that this was based on that I can now go read to get more like details and stuff about these characters. It's very much Under the Dome and Regulators. Not the TV show Under the Dome, the book. It's very similar to like those general premises, I feel. And that really elevated it to me. The only issues, I think I'm going to wrap it up here with just some minor complaints that I had for anyone who's like, you know, getting ready to go watch. Just get ready for this. One, Ewan McGregor's American accent. I don't know if it's because I'm so used to hearing him talk like Obi-Wan, or I'm just used to his regular accent. But boy, does it stand out. He kind of has something where like he brings up like the back of his mouth to the front to really get the words to come out correctly, and you can just tell that that's not how he normally speaks, and it does throw you off. At least it threw me off, and it threw off a lot of people in comments on like, you know, Reddit threads that I kept reading about it. So that was off note. My only other issue with the movie is the dinosaurs and like the creatures that they have to deal with. Because if you're unaware, End of Oak Street is about this like 2-mile radius gets teleported of like suburbs, gets teleported to prehistoric times, and there's dinosaurs and creatures and whatnot. There are so goddamn many animals in that 2-mile, like, or in that 3-mile zone that didn't go into the suburbs. Like, where do they keep coming from? There's so goddamn many dinosaurs. And they're just cartoonishly, well, not cartoonishly, obnoxiously violent. Just immediately they start killing people. And like all of them, every carnivore that shows up in this movie does nothing but try to eat people. I'm like, really? Like, I get it's like, it's, you know, I get it's a horror, but come on, you gotta have something different. You can't have a little more suspense or like, oh, the dinosaurs aren't sure what these 2-legged fleshy things are. So like, you know, you've never seen them before. You know, it's like an animal that doesn't interact with people. It doesn't notice to be scared of them, or, you know, like fucking Lost World. Jurassic Park Lost World, where like the dinosaurs just don't give a shit. But it's a lot. It just happens. Once things kick into high gear, they fucking stay there. But again, I highly recommend checking out The End of Oak Street. It is fantastic. And I need some water. Johnny Boy, have I seen the Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse trailer? It was leaked? Yes, I'm going to be talking about that pretty soon. I downloaded it just in case. Don't tell Sony. What other midnight titles do I think there are going to be? Asks, I'm just going to call you Vidi. Vidi? I don't know. It would be really funny if they did, like, Midnight Ghost Rider and he's just a normal person. I don't care about the Midnight X-Men because they're just going to be vampires. Like, any spin-off of that, it's just going to deal with the Vampire X-Men or whatever. And the Empires. What could you do? Midnight Captain America? That's... Who knows? I don't think that'll happen. Maybe it will. Who cares? What else? Well, I'm trying to think of like Marvel character. Midnight Daredevil. But like when I start thinking about the Midnight Universe, I then start thinking of that weird alternate Earth 666 from like 10 years ago, where it's like the demons won and killed Doctor Strange, and now they took over Earth, and Daredevil has like super devil horns and no face because he's been malformed by evil, and Captain America has a pentagram on his shield because he's a Satanist. That's just what I think of whenever I think of the Midnight Universe. Jurassic World Dominion was the first time Mog has stayed in a theater, or has seen a theater stay completely silent. It was very awkward. Oh no. I thought that was going to go somewhere. It's like, oh yeah, there's a really suspenseful scene. But then I realized you said Jurassic World Dominion, the movie about giant locusts and like genetic modification for capitalistic intent. I still haven't seen Jurassic World Dominion. I don't plan on it. I haven't also seen Jurassic World Rebirth. I do plan on watching it, but that is to make a fan edit of it, because that's something I just do in my own time as a hobby, is make fan edits of movies. So maybe I can make it into something that I'll enjoy. Thank you very much, Action Packed, for complimenting the Civil War Complete story video. That took quite a while to render. Rounding it up, it is 19 hours long. So moving over into the DC side of stuff, Mr. Miracle show has had some casting, that primarily being Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. He's getting an animated look. Are you ready to see what Guy Gardner looks like in whatever art style they pick for the Mr. Miracle show? I am. That's the end of this part. That's all I got about Mr. Miracle. Here's a spoiler. I haven't read Tom King's Mr. Miracle just because, I've seen the Comic Pop video. I know it's good. I don't know. I prefer Jack Kirby to Tom King. Call me crazy. I just like the bodaciousness and the rambunctiousness of Jack Kirby's original take on the characters. I don't want to see Mr. Miracle contemplate suicide. I don't need to see that in another Tom King book, but that's what it's going to be based on. Apparently, take this with a grain of salt. If he might be taking more elements of, like, I don't know, maybe like Ram V and also Jack Kirby's original intent for the New Gods, because that would be really boring if they just don't incorporate anything else about the New Gods into this show. I imagine you would have to, since this is going to be more general audience based, so you're going to have Scott and, what is his name? The ugly one. I'm blanking on his name. Orion. Being traded to stop the giant war, and growing up vice versa on each planet. You're gonna have that. You're gonna have to take all that stuff from Kirby. Hoping that Oberon is in this. Really hoping Oberon is in this film. That would be interesting to see how they, like if Mr. Miracle and Big Barda make the jump to live action. It's going to be interesting to see how they do that. I think it would be really fun if they just cast a woman who's pretty tall, but not like Amazonian tall. And then, through the power of movie magic, just made her a bit taller. Or like, how tall is Big Barda supposed to be? Like 7 feet tall, maybe? That's how I imagine her in my dreams. But I just think it would be a fun look if you had like just I guess like how Nolan did the giants in the Odyssey movie. How like they're just people, but they just scaled them up. I would like to see that. I'd like to see the New Gods in general, or at least like the ones from Darkseid, from Apocalypse, be a bit bigger than normal. But yeah, who's to say if who's to say? Who's to say about what? That's just my default segue. That's pretty much it for Mr. Miracle. That one is continuing. Unlike DCU's Paradise Lost and the Waller series, both of which are reportedly dead, as well as HBO having turned down pitches for both a Catwoman and a Poison Ivy TV show. Now, those last two could be really anything. That could be like a Poison Ivy spinoff of Harley Quinn. Doesn't have to be in the DCU. Catwoman. That could be Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman. That could be... Is Catwoman in the Harley Quinn show? I think she is. It'd be weird if she wasn't. Like, those don't inherit... those rumors, at least, don't inherently mean that this was something for the DCU. But Paradise Lost and Waller, those are two shows that are never going to happen. One of which I'm sad about. The other, ambivalent. Paradise Lost, who cares? What would we really get? Like, who also, where, like, there's not an audience for that, is there? There's an audience for Wonder Woman, obviously, but is there an audience for Themyscira? Skira? And whatever Paradise Lost was meant to be, which is I don't even know, it's like a in the past, about the Amazons, just doing stuff. Ooh, boy. I truly don't know what can you do with that to make it interesting enough to appeal to both wider audiences and, like, comic book fans. The Waller show, I am disappointed by, because much like Mog says in the chat, a Waller show with Viola Davis would be amazing and awesome, and I truly agree. And I was really wanting to see more of that world, more of the Argus and the Checkmate stuff. I was really hoping the Waller show would come out and kind of be like the Book of Boba Fett was to Peacemaker Season 2. Is like kind of, I think, what a lot of people were hoping. Unfortunately not. I think that is the biggest kind of sore spot. Supergirl is also a pretty big sore spot for a lot of people, including myself. But it's sad that we aren't going to get to see that. Let's see, what is everybody saying? DC will do anything to avoid a Flash or Wonder Woman movie. That's true. Have I seen the Lanterns TV show? Not yet. It's, this Sunday, right? Is the Lanterns TV show going to be one episode, or do they premiere in 2 episodes first? Let's see. Loved Brand New Day says, Astolfo. Movie had small issues, but thought it was fine. Sounds good. Thank you very much also for the compliments. Thank you, Jack, for stopping by. I do want to get around to reviewing She-Hulk comics. That would be fun, especially after I did the Dan Slott one for the Civil War. Ian says, just more resources for the Jimmy Olsen show. Yes! Thank God! I'm so excited for the Jimmy Olsen show. You can kind of see it. Right here. So all this stuff, this is a box that you see often in the background of my videos if you're watching the video. Those are all of my comics, original pages, such as The Custodians, Agents of Cross, available now on Etsy.com, BlakeTWalt.Etsy.com. But that stack right there, next to the box set of DVDs for Nightmare on Elm Street I just bought, those are the majority of my Jimmy Olsen comics. I keep them right there, like, if I ever want to sit down on my couch and just have a read. I fucking love Jimmy Olsen. Now that I'm thinking about it, the show makes me scared, because that means that my precious issues of Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen are going to go up in price, especially at conventions where people are going to try to hawk them, because they're hot items. That is a big thing that I've seen the past couple of years. I brought it up before, which is Silver Age comics. Obviously, they're getting much older, so they're getting more expensive. But also just this general speculator market 2.0 that we've been in for the past, 10 years now? Oh, Christ. It lasted longer than the first one. But every issue... This is the first appearance of Quiggledorf, the spacefaring Seaman from Asteroid 7. He could be in the next Superman movie. $30, please. $70, because this one has a bit more brighter color. It's shit like that, where people are just finding these old books and selling them for exorbitant prices because, this might be good. This might be something in a movie. And that has just been my biggest issue. I agree, Mellow Marshy. It was very sad to learn about the passing of Amanda Waller. Paradise Lost reminds me of that Dune HBO show. Oh, that's true. That Dune HBO show, that did not come out a couple years ago. That was like last year, wasn't it? I haven't watched it yet, but I want to because I love the Dune movies. Oh my god, the Dune Chapter 3 trailer. I finally saw it again in when I went to see End of Oak Street. Oh my god, I'm so excited for that film. That looks so fantastic, and I'm so upset that we're not gonna get the giant worm man. Denny Villeneuve. Why are we not getting the worm man? I did not watch X-Men 97 Season 2 Crazy on You 26. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten to it yet. In a perfect world, I'd like to go through and watch the entirety of the X-Men 90s series, because I've never watched it. I've never had any interest in the 90s Marvel cartoons. I tried and just couldn't get into it, but I think if I make myself do commentaries for each episode, I'd like to. I just didn't have time because of the Civil War and then, a bunch of personal stuff in the past couple weeks. I also can't remember if I finished X-Men 97 Season 1. Oh yeah, Mog points out a good point, which is the dynamic duo film that's like a puppet movie. I feel like that one might come out. What is my favorite movie of the year? Crazy on You asks. Hadestown, the musical. Check out last episode if you're unaware of my immediate love and infatuation with Hadestown. I saw it 3 times in theaters, twice on the same day. After that, it would be 28 years later, Bone Temple, and now The End of Oak Street has moved its way into 3rd place. You can follow me on Letterboxd. Smokey's Videos, I think, is what I'm on there. Or, Blake T. Wilde. You'd probably find it if you type that in. Shadayo. Yeah, Jean Grey was insane. Astolfo Rider thought Supergirl was an okay but not perfect movie, not the worst thing. I agree. I liked the actors in Supergirl were fantastic. I brought this up last time I did the live when Supergirl came up. That was so disappointing that's the movie that they got put in. Like, at least to me, I know people love it, but for me, it felt unfinished. It felt, and then oddly disjointed at places, and it didn't feel like it was the best that it could be. Like, there's a story there, obviously, because they kind of just took the comic version and made weird changes, one of which was because the writer didn't understand the ending of the comic. But like, I just wish that it had been even better. I gave it like 3 stars. Like, I still enjoyed it. I got sleepy because it is a visually dark movie. But I really wish it had done better. Where did I get this Spider-Man shirt from? I don't remember. Target, maybe? This feels like a shirt you'd buy at a Target. Or maybe that was an X-Men one. I feel like this was at Target a couple years ago. I don't know. Here you go. If you want to take a screenshot of this and then Google Lens it. I think Denny doesn't like the Twins arc, says Vidi. Well, he can go fuck himself. That is a good point. He probably doesn't. Just because how little, like, he's kind of skipping past it. Anything to do with those characters, I think. If you watch the Dune preview in front of the 70mm showing of the Odyssey, my mind would be blown. Oh, man. Whatever happened to the plans for Dune Part 4? I don't think there ever was a Dune Part 4. Yeah, I think it was always meant to be 3 movies. Crazy on You asks, have I ever seen any Indian films? Let me find it. I have seen one in particular whose name escapes me currently. It's not going to be one I'm sure anyone is familiar with. I wish I could remember what it's called, but I cannot. So I'm going to vamp while I go to my letterbox and scroll down to the eyes in countries. How's everybody doing tonight? What's going on? What do you think? What do you get plans for the weekend? You gonna go see End of Oak Street, the movie that I was just raving about and already forgot the title of? Hotel Salvation. Okay, why? I looked up country by country, India, and for some reason, Dread, Lincoln, and Cowboys and Aliens popped up. Take care, Astolfo. Have a good day, evening, whatever your time zone is in. Yeah, Hotel Salvation from 2016. That's really the only kind of Indian film I've seen. It's a very sad, emotional film. It's about this old man who's close to death and his like 50-year-old son who, if I remember correctly, takes him to a temple on the bank of the Ganges River. And like that's where the dad wants to go to die, and the son, like, they have a disconnected relationship, so it's about them connecting. And what else happens? Like, the son learns to open himself up. He's like a workaholic kind of guy, so he's not home all the time. He's very focused, very closed-minded, whereas his father isn't. He's, into the mysticism as well, as the son's like, who wants to get him like modern medicine and everything. Very good movie. Yeah, that's really the only one I've seen. I haven't seen Triple R. The closest I've come to seeing Triple R was like clips that were posted, and then the meme from the awards show where the two women are on stage, and it's like seals when they see the handler with fish, and they open the envelope and they go R R R R R R. So moving on into the Marvel section of the video, because that's all we got from DC. Star Wars Marvel crossover is officially happening, and it's called Hope Assembles. Written by Kevin Smith with art by David Marquez. This is a 5-issue limited comic series. From the article, the heads behind Lucasfilm Publishing and Marvel Comics tease what's to come, calling the story, quote, exciting, unpredictable, and heartfelt. Titled Star Wars Marvel Hope Assembles. It starts in January, and it involves figures like Chewbacca, Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, all of whom will join Earth 616. The primary continuity in most of Marvel Comics takes place and mingle with the likes of Captain America, Black Widow, Spider-Man, and the Hulk. Meanwhile, Doctor Doom and the Marvel Rogues Gallery will join the likes of Darth Vader and the Galactic Empire. Insane, right? So let's break this down. Yeah, I haven't gotten to that part yet, Mog. First of all, this is not an alternate reality like you might expect, like, the Alien Marvel stuff that came out. Apparently, this like, how is this gonna work? Is Reed Richards gonna open a portal to the goddamn Star Wars galaxy a long time ago and in a galaxy far, far away? And then they come through into Earth 616? Is this gonna be the main characters? Are they gonna be the versions of them from the current Star Wars Marvel comics? Which is also funny because that means that the technology that Thrawn, like, the technology that the Empire remnants worked so hard on to get Thrawn back, they could have just taken it from Earth 616, which also kind of implies that Earth 616 is happening in the Marvel universe, or in the Star Wars universe. And also, if you take in that old Dark Horse comic, where Chewbacca and Han Solo crash land, then Indiana Jones is there too. This sounds insane. And yeah, Mog in the comments, in the chat, brought up the fact that it's written by Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith, I love his movies. I'm like the one person who liked Yoga Hosers. Yoga Hosers. He liked my tweet about how much I enjoyed it. And also, this just popped into mind. Chris Hardwick. You remember Chris Hardwick, the guy who did The Talking Dead and At Midnight, and had like some stuff said about him by some ex-women that he used to date. His mom used to follow me on Twitter like 10 years ago. I don't know why. And it was her account. I have no clue. Ah. But yeah, why is this being written by Kevin Smith? Kevin, the Bat Boy in the chat says, Kevin Smith came to my town and was zoinked out of his mind during his stand-up set. I would love to hang out with Kevin Smith. I think he's a cool dude. He fucking really, like, hit the jackpot. he just seems like a pretty cool guy, right? Like, he's very in his own bubble. He's into stuff that he likes, which is pretty much being like a big, like, nerd who just enjoys everything. I relate to that. I find enjoyment in, I like the Eternals. That's the one I keep always going to because everybody hates that movie. I like the Marvels. I like stuff. I get where Kevin Smith comes from, especially, when he had the health scares and everything. And fucking all that weight he lost, like, that's incredible. But Kevin Smith, I don't know how this is gonna turn out. As a Star Wars Marvel comic, have we ever seen what Kevin Smith's characterizations of, like, Captain America, Black Widow, Spider-Man, or the Hulk are like? And then on top of that, what the fuck are Kevin Smith's characterizations of Luke, Han Solo, Princess Leia, Darth Vader gonna be like? It's also insane that the Emperor seemingly is just not a part of this. Like, when does this take place? I would assume between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. It seems reasonable. Darth Vader's hunting the rebels after they blew up the Death Star. And they get transported to Earth 616. Now here's the thing. Why did they not get Patton Oswalt to do it? Because if you're familiar, he was on Parks and Rec. There's a whole, 10-15 minute monologue that you can watch, like the unedited version of, for that show, where they just let him ramble about a Marvel Comics and Star Wars crossover. And he's written comics before that majority of people like. I can't believe that they didn't get Patton Oswalt to do this. That's insane. What does everybody have to say about this? Crazy on You's recommending me some Indian films. Thank you for that. I'll look into those. I don't know why. I don't know. I think it just comes from, like, the length that some of the Indian films are. Just like I guess Bollywood. I'm very ignorant and unfamiliar with the general consensus. I did have a funny story that someone just told me, this buddy of mine at the gym, was that he they invited to a friend's birthday, and the friend is Indian. His whole family was coming down to celebrate, and they rented out the movie theater to watch this specific Indian film. And they're like, hey, you can bring like a couple of friends if you want. So the guy brought like 2 friends of his. And not one of the 3 of them had any idea what this film was. They didn't look it up. They didn't know the name. So they get there, and it's like a 4.5 hour long film. And I like, they sit in the middle too. So like, they can't sneak out if they wanted to. Or like, just get up and stretch or something. I agree, Tactical J. I do think Kevin Smith is funny. I always like him. I'd like to listen into the Smodcast episodes, especially the Grant Morrison one, and, the comic-based ones. He just seems like a kind of lovable guy. Star Wars and Marvel crossover. Okay, Disney is just flaunting their money now. That is correct, Ninja Goon. Fun you should say that. The day of D23. The weekend of D23, the greatest marketing decision of all time, because D23 is practically a shareholders meeting that they somehow convinced people to buy tickets for. Crazy on You says there needs to be a What If Star Wars comics. There were 3 of them called Star Wars Infinities. Those were actually the first comics I ever covered on the channel. The first one is, what if Princess Leia becomes evil and a Sith? The second one is Luke dies and Leia takes over, and the plot of Empire Strikes Back. And the third one is, what if Darth Vader became good? I can't remember what the general basis is for the third one. That's how it ends. I don't remember what the overall story was. Let's see. Is Kevin Smith going to cry into his camera again after he finishes the crossover? Hey, I get very emotional, so I can't say anything about that. I'm surprised I didn't cry at the end of Oak Street. All right, now moving on to what we all want to talk about, which is the Across the Spider-Verse leaked trailer. It's really not a trailer. I would say it's more of a teaser tacked on to a clip from the film. A clip of the film that lasts about 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes of the 4 minute runtime of this leaked clip. And the rest of it, so if you're unaware, spoiler, earmuffs everybody if you don't want to find out. It's how the last film ended. I've only seen the second movie once, and that was in theaters, and it was a bad experience because there were annoying children, and I was like, just getting pissed off about that, but I had to be quiet. Because, it's like a Spider-Man movie, and I didn't want to be that guy for a fucking Spider-Man film. But it's Miles is tied up to the punching bag, and alternate Aaron is there from Earth 42, and Prowler Miles is there, and it's their back and forth. We see more of it. We see it from Prowler Miles's point of view, and then that scene just kind of plays out, and we see Miles eventually steal electricity and escape and starts fighting them. Then it cuts to the actual teaser, which is like there's going to be flashbacks to young Jeff and young Aaron, and it's like in 4:3 aspect ratio, and it kind of looks like it's like a 70s action kind of movie. I wonder if they'll go as far as to make it like a blaxploitation film. That would be insane. What else happens? We just get clips. There's Spot doing stuff. There's a scene that I noted where everything's glitching out, kind of like in the first movie, where the portal opens and boom, boom, boom. It's like undulating reality. Kingpin shows up in the teaser trailer, along with other spider people. Noir, Ham, Girl, Other Girl, Indian. The Spider-Verse. Does the scenes of Spider-Verse 2 count as an Indian film? And then it's them being like, oh, we're gonna stop Miguel O'Hara from killing Miles or whatever. We're gonna teach him something. Blah blah blah. We're gonna stop the Spot. Spider-Punk is there and he looks cool. Gwen has a jacket on. It's from a different reality. I think it's Spider-Punk's reality. He puts a jacket on her at some point in the movie, and so it looks cool because it's contrasting art styles. They're walking on a crane. And it seemingly they go to Gwen's Earth too, because I think Miles is sitting on the edge of like a cliff or the edge of a building or a crane or something, and she sits down next to him. What else happened? That's about it. But I don't know, is there anything else? What else happens in this teaser trailer for anyone who has seen it? Yes, I do remember when, no, this movie was not originally going to come out in 2024. Sony said it was going to be coming out in 2024, Ryan. Which was fucking insane. I could not believe that. Do you think future releases of the movie are just going to cut that part out? Because, I got the Blu-ray up here on the shelf somewhere, so, if I put it in, is it gonna say that the second part comes out in 2024? Sushi was Sushiat Sushi says they hope we get to see Spiderman. That would be fun. I would like to see, I don't know how well it would work, but I think it would be fun to see some more mixtures of live action, like how we had with Donald Glover's The Prowler. There's spider portals opening all across the sky. Thank you, Mog. Depicting, I'm pretty sure it's Earth 42, the one with Prowler Miles. They track him down to there. I think Ben Reilly does that at the end of the last movie. They track him down to that Earth, and Miguel arrives, and then boom, 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 all these portals start opening up in this alternate reality. It comes out, let's see if I can remember. It's 2027, September 2027, is that right? June? August? July? Sometime next year. Oh, an MTV Spider-Man cameo. Now, that would be fun. I don't know. You think they're going to do anything with Spectacular Spider-Man? You think he's going to get redeemed in any way? Because everybody was really upset that he joined Miguel. Spider-Ham's back. There's the computer girl or something, I think. I vaguely remember her from the second movie, I think. I honestly don't recall what else happens in this trailer. Digital versions of the movie must have gotten the patch update, says Mello. Oh, thank you, Mog. It's June 17th. Nice summer picture. Right in the midst, so you can get all the money from, all the kids on summer break. Or winter break, I assume, or I don't know how it works on the Southern Hemisphere. All right, now moving on. There's a bunch of stuff we got in this section, guys. So make sure we gotta get through this. Samara Weaving has been officially cast as Emma Frost in the upcoming MCU X-Men movie. You might have seen the post I made on the YouTube channel, Smokey's Comic Vault, of a beautifully done rendition fan art of Samara Weaving as Emma Frost. That's awesome. She fucking fits the role. She's a gorgeous blonde woman. And a better actor than January Jones. Oh, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man cameo would be insane, Mog brings up. But I don't think they would do that because that's Disney. Although yeah, no, never mind. I was thinking Spectacular was like Disney, but that was before. That was before the issues. 3 scenes of Spectacular Spider-Man defecating. I'll watch it. I think I've seen that leaked online. Sushi asks, what do I think of Rom the Space Knight? I don't. I've never gotten the appeal of Rom the Space Knight. He looks like a man made out of like remote controls. I don't get it. I didn't get when the Marvel Legend figure got released last year or earlier this year, whenever that was, and everybody was losing their minds. I don't care about Rom. I do care about Samara Weaving as Emma Frost. What kind of accent do you think she'll do? I wonder if she'll have like a transatlantic accent or just an English accent? I don't know. What do you think is more prominent? I feel like they should do transatlantic because we've had Professor X with the English accent for 26 years. He's not English in the comics. He is a born and bred New York boy. So he will hopefully be American when he appears in the MCU, played by whoever. We'll get to that in a little bit. But Samara Weaving as Emma Frost, that is also interesting that, like, it's kicking off with Emma in play. Like, will she be involved in any way with the Xavier Institute, the Xavier School, whatever they decide to call it? Is the school going to be a thing? This is also the issue, which is, what the fuck is going to happen when they reboot the universe? I know Feige says they're not rebooting the MCU, but come on, dude. Soft reboot's still a reboot. Like, is the mansion always going to have been there? Are they going to take from, like, the Ultimate Universe and, like, have it just starting up? Like, he switched to the mansion idea or whatever? How are they going to do this? Is Emma going to be leading, like, the Hellions? Like, are mutants going to be so established that there's, like, another school for them? Is she going to be like a rival? Are we going to get a Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire situation? The Mutant Games! Dog Hyper, will I read any Skybound Energon universe comics? No, I don't. Had never really been into Transformers aside from, like, those 3 weird the 3D animated ones, the 3 3D animated shows from the early 2000s. I really got into those, I think, because they aired before I went to school, so I would just watch them in the mornings. That, I learned later everyone fucking hates them, like Energon, Cybertron, Long John, whatever the third one's called. That and the UK, like the Marvel reprint of the UK Transformers comics are really the furthest I've gone. Oh, and then that, I can't remember what Transformers comic it was. I've covered maybe 2 of them on the channel. One of them was as a parody of Comic Story, and like, oh my god, 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago. What's random observation? But my chair kind of looks like Professor X's hover chair. Don't say that. I hate that hover chair. It looks like a big dumb block of soap. That was my biggest issue. One of my issues with Multiverse of Madness was seeing him in that big dumb chair when they're on Titan after they defeat fucking Thanos, and just picturing him trying to do anything in it. It just looks ridiculous. Vidi says, one friend told me that if the MCU wants to stay away from the Fox X-Men, the better could be to stick to the Claremont X-Men, the classic idea. I want Morrison. I think Morrison should be like the ground upon which they build, because that is so fucking focused on them being an actual school. I know that the Fox X-Men kind of have that, but for what percentage of the time? Maybe 5% of all of the Fox X-Men movies, the Fox Men, is like a school actually being happening. And I just love the new X-Men era of the X-Men so much. I really want to just see a properly functioning school that doesn't get blown up. Ian is curious about what they'll do with Charles and Magneto and how old they'll be. Fuck, who knows? You can't really, like, I guess you could say, oh, he was involved in the Holocaust, but his mutant power just slowed down his aging. I feel like if they do lean into the whole Magneto Jewish Holocaust thing, he'll be like, you know, like a son or a grandson or something, right? Like, they'll make it related to him in some way, but he won't have experienced it firsthand, like Ian McKellen's Magneto and Michael Fassbender's as. The real questioner is, are general audiences ready for a British Blade, asks Every Lettuce. No. Maybe that's why they didn't make the Blade movie with Mahershala Ali, because they wanted to make him British, and they didn't think anybody would buy it. Let's see. Mog says they'll use their hands to form an M to inform other mutants they're the same. Decky's says, I wonder if the rumors about it being the original Lee Kirby lineup is true, given that Emma is already announced. I feel like it's probably going to be a mashup. I don't know. Do you really think they'll do Iceman and like Angel? I feel like they're just so unwelcome by the general population. They're probably going to mix and match. I think would be really cool, because again, we did already see Iceman. We saw Angel kind of. But like, I would like to see just a mixed match of characters. Imagine if they introduce, what is her name? Sandstorm, Dust? Is it Dust? The Muslim, mutant or is she Muslim? I can't remember. Who wears the hijab. Imagine if she's a core member. Let's see. Sushi, I hope we get to see Nicholas Hammond in the new Spider-Verse movie. That would be really cool. Like how they had the guy who played Billy Batson in the original 70s Captain Marvel Shazam show appear in Shazam 2. And he's wearing the fucking sweater with the yellow collar. I have looked everywhere online for one of those fucking things. I don't think anybody makes them. Unicon trailer. There you go. Thank you. That's what it was called. Let's see. Do we make a general rule in the movies that mutants just age slower? No, Mellow Marshy, because that's how we end up with the last 3 Fox X-Men movies, where decades are leapt between films, and they look the exact same. That pissed me off. I hated that. There are a lot of rumors about who is going to be in the X-Men. There was a Jeff Snyder newsletter, who he's like, I think pretty renowned, believable in like the leaking info sphere community of, you know, insiders and whatnot. Although he did say that Professor X is reportedly down to Bill Skarsgård and Tom Pelphrey. Tom Pelphrey was the guy who played Grant. Is that his name? In Iron Fist, the brother, the best part of season 1 of Iron Fist. You know, the dejected son who becomes Danny's friend at the end. Loved him. I think he would be a really great Professor X, but apparently that's not happening. Apparently those rumors are false. Let me know in the comments, who would you cast? Like, you could pick any actor. This is going to come up with my pick to play Professor X for the MCU. Who would you choose? I have thought for the longest time that Andre Bronner would be the perfect Professor X. If you're unaware, Andre Braugher was the actor who played Captain Raymond Holt on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Unfortunately, he passed away a handful of years ago. But I think he just would have been a fantastic Professor X. I think he could have blown it out of the park, especially when there were rumors of the MCU's Professor X and maybe Magneto both being black. Man, I would have loved to have seen him sit in a wheelchair and be cool. But the Cyclops ones, rumored Cooper Hoffman. I gotta look that up. I'm breaking my one rule. Yeah, Cooper Hoffman was the main character of The Long Walk, which I finally watched a couple days ago. Amazing movie. And then Drew Starkey. Starkey? Yeah, Starkey. I have no idea who this guy is. But I don't know if I don't know. I'm trying to picture him with a visor on. I guess he has the face shape to play Scott Summers. There's a picture of him with sunglasses on, so that kind of helps. I think there's a third one, but there's just so much. There was something blew up in the Leco sphere a couple days ago, where there was some actor who I wish I had written it down, but I forgot. Was it Kit Connor, maybe? Because there's a Deadline article in my notes that's Kit Connor might be playing Cyclops as well. Who the fuck's Kit Connor? I think it was him. I think people... Oh, yeah, he was... Oh, wait, no, that's not... I thought that was Heated Rivalry, but that's something called Heartstopper. I think it was Kit Connor that just had, stuff blow up where it's oh, Kit Connor's definitely gonna be Cyclops. And then, the next day... Kit Connor's not Cyclops. They're stepping back from Kit Connor being Cyclops. I don't think he's Cyclops anymore. I think he wanted more money to be Cyclops. Marvel's not going to give him more money to be Cyclops. He's not Cyclops. It just flipped on a dime. With everybody saying he was going to be Cyclops, and now he's not Cyclops. So who knows? Maybe I'm Cyclops. Maybe we're all Cyclops. The real X-Men were the Cyclopses we made along the way. Sushi asks, what do I think of the McFarlane DC Multiverse line? I am very upset that much like when Mattel lost the license, McFarlane also begins making figures that I really want. I have quite a handful, I have stacks of toys over here off screen that I need to do reviews for. A lot of them are DC Multiverse. Or, is this one? What is this? DC Multiverse. Got Damian Wayne as Batman. And there's a third one down here. I can't remember who this is. Oh, dropped some stuff. This is the... What is the hell? The, Supergirl DC Comics. Classic. Just a ton of them. I fucking... Shazam! Oh, wait, no. Captain Marvel Jr. They finally started making characters that I like and I'm interested in. And then they're not gonna make them anymore. I'm God damn it. Yes, I do want to do a room tour. I gotta, but it's a mess in here. There's my wall is just all shelves and so much stuff has fallen over, and I just never took the time to fix it because I had been working on goddamn the Civil War stuff for 3 months, pretty much nonstop. Do I have any new Marvel figures? I don't have any up. I got a lot of boxes. I got Daredevil. I have... Oh, God. There goes some stuff. I got Robbie Reyes as Ghost Rider. Cool. Which brings up... Nice segue. Ghost Rider. So the aforementioned Snyder newsletter notes that the film is directed by Sean Levy. We brought that up before. I discussed that already. Ryan Gosling is expected to be playing Johnny Blaze, who will be the only Ghost Rider in the movie. That is a shame, because I do not think that Ryan Gosling fits Johnny Blaze. I think he would be more in line being Danny Ketch. What if I said Robbie Reyes? I really am disappointed if that's true. Like, that's the biggest disappointment to me, I think, aside from Sean Levy being the director, is that he's gonna be Johnny Blaze. Which, that's fine. Sure, it's not like I can do anything to avert it. I just think he would be better as Danny Ketch. Just looking at him, he just feels very Danny Ketch-like. And, it's not a shock that he's the only Ghost Rider that's pretty much going to be in the film. We're not going to get Robbie Reyes. Although, because, fuck you if you don't agree, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is canon to the MCU. I don't care what that loser Kevin Feige says. I'll fist fight him. That would mean that the Ghost Rider we see pass on the Spirit of Vengeance to Robbie Reyes in Season 4 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is Ryan Gosling. Sacha Baron Cohen is also apparently reported to return as Mephisto, though not as a main villain. Cameo Fisto. I still haven't watched Ironheart yet, so I don't know what he's like. Rosamund Pike is rumored to be in talks for a major role, potentially the love interest. And Johnny Blaze is reportedly expected to debut in Avengers Secret Wars before his own solo film. Who the fuck isn't in Secret Wars? So that's like the Ghost Rider stuff. 100%, Ian. Ryan Gosling definitely would have been a generational Black Panther. Imagine, at San Diego Comic-Con, Ryan Gosling comes out, he's Ghost Rider! Everybody's freaking out, everybody's writing their articles about it. He's dressed like James Dean in Rebel Without a Cause, again, for some reason. Why did he do that? Was that on purpose? And then he walks off stage. And then later in the show, the Black Panther 3 logo comes back on screen. And Ryan Gosling comes back on stage? Oh, man. Let's be happy that Sean Levy is handling one Ghost Rider. I don't want to imagine his Robbie Reyes. The issue with Sean Levy is that he's just kind of a boring director. Like, I loved Deadpool and Wolverine. I gave it 5 stars. And I wrote like a whole little review about it on my letterbox. Check it out. Smokey's videos or Blake T. Wild, whatever. But then I went back and watched just like a couple of clips from the first 2 Deadpool movies, and holy shit, is he a boring director. I don't know, like it's him, and then I assume the cinematographer who works for him. Because fuck, are those some slow-moving films. A lot of mid-shots, not a lot of stuff happening. I wish I was in Secret Wars, Johnston. I gotta boost my numbers on YouTube to even get close. Although, I wouldn't be opposed to being in the new MCU, even though I did just say I'm gonna fist fight Kevin Feige. Thank you, Sushi. Sushi agrees with me that Ryan Gosling fits Danny Ketch. He has Danny Ketch vibes. Eric Voss going crazy because more Mephisto. Ian says, me at the end of a divorce silence, seeing my ex-wife will return in Secret Wars. Oh, man. Yeah, that's true, Dog Hyper. The 90s cannot be respected. Especially Danny Ketch. Oh my god, Johnson, I would love to be Rick Jones. I would just have to learn to act and memorize lines. But hey, that's what Disney money's for. I can be a jacked, dehydrated Rick Jones. The third thing from the... Well, no, yeah, there's 2 more things here before we finally get to Spider-Man Brand New Day. So let me get to these. Speaking of Black Panther, Denzel Washington is still expected to be joining the cast. As who? Probably just, like... It would be cool. I think he would be pretty cool as... Ikabe? Is that his name? What's the villain's name from the Christopher Priest run? The one that has the little hand puppet, that like super long Joker face. I think he could be cool as that guy. But I bet that Denzel Washington in Black Panther 3, assuming he does join the cast, is going to be just some fucking member of like the council or whatever, right? Like Forrest Whitaker? Is that who? Was he in one of them? Was he in the first one? I guarantee that he is just going to be like some minor role, or he's like Storm's dad. Because there's rumors that Storm might be appearing in this, and that's why she's not going to be involved in some X-Men stuff, because they want her in, like, the Black Panther, because Storm reportedly has not been cast yet because Ryan Coogler wants to be involved, allegedly. Daniel Kaluuya is reportedly close to returning as W'Kabi. Black Panther 3 and the X-Men are expected to be in pre-production around the same time, making them Marvel's next major priorities in the Avengers films. I also forgot, I totally skipped the rest of the X-Men stuff. Kaylee Spaney is rumored to be a favorite along the casting process for Rogue, with Odessa Azion, who is reportedly considered... Look, not her worth. I don't get people's infatuation with Odessa Zion. I assume it's because they're just physically attracted to her. I don't know what she's been in, and honestly, she's off-putting to me to look at. I don't know why. There's just something about how her face is shaped and, like, how bright her eyes are that it just makes me uncomfortable. I don't know why. I don't like her. I don't want to see her as Rogue. And everybody was like, oh my god, she'd be the perfect Rogue. She'd be the perfect Rogue. No, because they already have the perfect Rogue, assuming that she takes the role. And that is Kaylee Spaney. I love Kaylee Spaney. She's a terrific actor. She's fantastic. She could be an incredible Rogue. I really want her to be in the MCU. My other fan cast is Kitty Pryde, being played by Thomasin McKenzie. You might recognize her from Jojo Rabbit. That was the movie I saw her in, where I was like, holy shit, she would be an incredible Kitty Pryde. She was also in Last Night in Soho, a movie that was practically made for me. Because I have such huge crushes on both Anya Taylor-Joy and Thomasin McKenzie, and it's directed and written by Edgar Wright. Like, that was a movie that was just wholeheartedly, like, the universe brought it into existence for myself. Who should be Shadow King? Asked Logan Ritchie. Just get the guy back who did him on Legion. I don't remember his name, but fuck, Legion is such a great show. Also, fucking Charles Melton is expected to play Beast. Oh, is that who I was thinking of? Was it Charles Melton? Maybe. Maybe that's who it was. Maybe it was Charles Melton. Remember not too long ago when I was bringing up the whole Kit Connor Cyclops thing? Maybe I got my wires crossed. Maybe. That's never happened before. Maybe Kit Connor is Cyclops, and then Charles Melton. That sounds more likely. Charles Melton was supposed to be Beast, and then, like, everybody was like, oh my god, he's Beast, and then the next day it's like, no, he's not Beast anymore. Anya Taylor-Joy should be Magic in the MCU, Diego. I absolutely agree. She was amazing in New Mutants. I fucking love her hair in that film. I love the weird little buns. There's something that I just love. It's just a cool look. Oh, thank you, Deckies. Yeah, okay, yeah, so I did get them confused. So Charles Melton is Beast. They should have been a dead giveaway when I put Deadline in the notes. Because I feel like Deadline doesn't get stuff wrong. He played T'Challa's uncle. Oh, that's who for it. He was his uncle? That is not who I thought he was. Perhaps Storm would be married to... Oh my god, Ian, great point. Do you think they're going to do a Storm and Kid T'Challa? T'Challa 2, if you will. Marriage in the MCU? Could that be a thing? Could they make this marriage of Storm and Black Panther actually be interesting? Because like I brought it up during the Civil War videos, it's not, it just kind of happens. Like, yeah, they have, history from, like, that comic that fucking Chris Claremont or whoever wrote 20 years prior. But, like, it just happens. It just, it's Storm. I'm gonna marry Storm. And then there we go. Because I brought it up in the video, so go watch it if you want to hear more about my thoughts on the Storm T'Challa marriage. It's such a monumental thing. It did not get, like, the energy or the compassion that it deserved. The final thing from fucking Snyder's little fucking whatever thing is the Marvel Disney Plus strategy. I discussed it already, cancellation of Wonder Man. It's weird that, Wonder Man gets canceled, Blade gets canceled, Armor Wars never existed to get canceled. And now we got, some other stuff being canceled. Is there a connection there? Who's to say? But it is apparently part of a broader shift away from live-action Disney Plus series. Marvel is expected to continue producing animated series, particularly those aimed at younger audiences. Which, if it's to the level and consistency of, say, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, or Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, I'm fucking cool down for that. Those are two great shows that I really enjoy, especially Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. I never finished that. I desperately need to get back to it because I loved all the music. That was a lot of fun. But I worry it is more in line with Spidey and His Amazing Friends or something, right? Like, what does aimed at younger audiences mean in this rumor? Who's to say? There's the proper usage of a who's to say. And the final thing we get is just a general rumor. Thank you, Echo, for also agreeing with me that Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is great. Is good. Enjoyable. I don't know where this rumor came from, but Endgame. Endgame. Doomsday, I mean. A Doomsday rumor. Avengers Doomsday. Gwyneth Paltrow's appearing. I said Gwyneth Paltrow's appearing. I don't see anything happening in the chat. I thought everybody was going to be going crazy. I thought there were going to be hearts everywhere. I thought there was going to be people typing in goop excitedly. Gwyneth Paltrow's coming back. She's back for Avengers Endgame. Apparently, what does that mean? I think that the general idea is that we're probably going to see Tony Stark's funeral again. Because, it wasn't enough the first time. Let's see it again. No, don't cry, react. So, what is the movie gonna start on Tony Stark's fucking funeral, and Harley's gonna be there, the kid from Iron Man 3, and, I just realized this. You think Iron Man's daughter's gonna do anything? How old is she? She's gonna be 11. 10? I don't remember how old she's supposed to be in the movie. I'm conflating the deleted scene where he sees his daughter aged up, and also how old she is in the actual film. I don't remember. But she's not going to be important unless they reboot the universe and now she's older. But yeah, hey, go out on a bang, right? What if I just ended the podcast now? I'd never discuss Spider-Man Brand New Day. I just ended on Gwyneth Paltrow and Doomsday. Half the movie is Pepper Potts at the lawyer's office doing probate stuff. Hey, as long as it's Matt Murdock, that'd be people would watch it. Oh man. What if this is one of the scenes that they add to the Avengers Encore? What if that's a part of it? Viddy asks, one question, after 18 hours of comic, do I actually like the Civil War event? Yes, if I didn't, I wouldn't have done that. Civil War and Secret Invasion are the two big books and events that really broke the mold to what I think of as comics. When I first started getting into comics and I found the reading list that you could read every single comic in this chronological order, which I discuss in the individual series. If anyone's watching or listening and unaware, the almost 19 hour long video is not the original. That is just a trimmed down every episode. I removed the before and after bits where I'm talking to the camera, giving my thoughts. So it's pretty much all the story. There is the 83 episode playlist available on the channel if you want to see more detail. But yeah, those were the events that just blew my mind. I was like, holy shit, comics can be so much this is telling a whole story across a whole universe. It feels so real. I fucking love the Civil War event. And Secret Invasion. I think Fear itself also works very well if you read everything in order. Secret Wars. What is everybody saying? Go one step further, says the Bat Boy. Make it the last thing you ever say on, on the show and then delete it for artistic commitment. Sushi says Morgan is probably watching K-pop Demon Hunters or Tung Tung Sahur. I don't know what that is. I assume an anime. I've never seen K-pop Demon Hunters. Hate the music. I hate Golden. Don't come at me. Let's see. Echo. I'm reading the comic universe from the beginning. Oh my goodness. Yeah, okay, so here's the thing, Echo. Before we officially get in to the Spider-Man Brand New Day segment, I'm going to drink some water. I'm going to make eye contact while I do it. So, here's a tip of advice specifically to Echo, but anyone who's listening and watching now or later. When you go back and revisit or visit for the first time, Silver Age comics. Silver Age, don't forget, starts about 1957, 58, goes until early 70s usually is where they say, whenever Gwen Stacy fucking died. You don't have to read every single thing on those pages. I don't, and that is my favorite era of comics. When you go into a Marvel book from that time and you see Stan Lee just going fucking crazy and writing so goddamn much, you can probably skim it real quick and just go on ahead. If it's a caption, you really don't have to read it for the most part, because usually it's kind of just explaining what's happening in the book itself, which is very good for, kids or people learning to read or whatever. But for the most part, you can just go right ahead. You can just read the dialogue, really, and you're going to get a full story because the comic artists at the time were trend-setting and they knew what they were doing. They knew how to tell a sequential story. So even if you got rid of the words, you could just look at the pictures and tell what's happening. That's the beauty of comics. And that's what makes a good comic from a bad comic, too. Like, if you're working on a comic and you're worrying that something isn't working right, just look at the pages. Don't think of the script. Don't think of the dialogue. Look at the panels in the pages and see if it works as a story being told in that, order, in that way, that you can just look at the images and figure out what's happening through context. So yeah, really, you don't have to read everything, which is a big issue that people seem to think you have to do. But you don't. If Happy and Reed met in Doomsday, are they going to make some Mando references? Oh, God. The Dog Hyper asks, what is my opinion on the important information being in tie-ins instead of the main event? That is ridiculous. It shouldn't be. There's nothing really important that happens in the Civil War tie-ins that you need to know going into the main story. Obviously, you're gonna get more from the experience of Civil War. You see Spider-Man fighting Tony Stark and the extended fight when he switches sides and how he escapes and how Punisher saves him. But if you just read the main 7 issues, you're gonna see the beginning of the fight. You're going to see Spider-Man escape into the sewers. You're going to see Punisher save him. And then he comes back a little bit later and he's healed up, blah, blah, blah. It's fucking ridiculous when a comic event has something very important happen in a tie-in, because that makes me think they only did that to boost sales, which obviously is what they want to have happen because they're a company. But here's the thing. Why not just tell a proper story? I do not just look at the pictures and leave, Mog. I read the comics. Yes, Johnston, I do miss captions and thought bubbles in modern comics. That is why in my own comics, The Custodians Agents of Cross, I have them pop up along with, the fun little whiz-bam, bombastic kind of Stan Lee-esque narration, or like the title or the credits at the beginning of a comic are like, adroit art by cataclysmically colorful coloring by blah, 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 shit like that. And then, yeah, the thought bubbles, I do miss those, but really those just became captions. Like fucking Batman's notebook. What do you think that is? That's just his thoughts. The thought bubbles, you really can do a lot with them. They were mostly in the Silver Age, especially, just kind of used as more narration. Just kind of explaining what's happening already. Which I think is a big reason why people don't like them. Oh, Mog says they have some hot takes on Spider-Man Brand New Day. Am I gonna cover Zemo Born Better? I don't know what that is, Logan. I don't know. I've never heard of that. So, let's finally get there. We're only an hour and a half in. This is a long one. Spider-Man Brand New Day. The official Smokey's Comic Vault discussion. A very timely review of Spider-Man Brand New Day. We finally got here. I am very glad that my dumbass theories did not come true. I'm glad that Keith David was just Keith David voicing a documentary. So that means Keith David exists in the MCU and he got paid by this documentary that was then uploaded to like YouTube or whatever for free. About spiders. I'm glad that Imanis Fondi's character wasn't a villain. I'm very glad that what's his name? Morlun was in no way involved like I was worried about. That mainly came about of fears from a lot of rumors saying that Sony was trying to push for like more multiverse stuff. It's like, oh god, please don't. The biggest takeaway from this movie was that, am I the only one that didn't realize the MCU was ahead of our timeline again? Because there was a time up until Infinity War where we were concurrently following along. It was 2018 there, in the Marvel Universe, and Earth 199999, and it was 2018 in our world. Then Endgame comes out. They jump ahead 4 years, I think. So we play catch up. And then eventually we do catch up, and then we're back to running concurrently. When the fuck did this become 2028? When did they get 2 years? How did the MCU gain 2 years on us? When did that happen? What movie was that in? Sushi asks in the comments, do I ship comics to the Philippines? I mean, I can. I think with Etsy, you can kind of just ship anywhere. I've shipped to, I think, the UK, I believe. It's mainly just comes down to the price of shipping. I do have, on my Patreon, patreon.com/Smokey's videos, the comics posted on there in their totalness, along with my like running commentary, behind the scenes stuff, and comments on. It's pretty much like a director's commentary for a comic book, where each post I have like 8 to 10 pages maybe or something, and then I discuss those page by page and what my process was going through it and thoughts and everything about each one. Unfortunately, it has been a while. I'm working currently to get the last 3 issues of my current comic, The Custodians Agents of Cross, which has been my baby for like fucking 10 years now. I've been trying to work on this. But the first 3 issues of The Custodians Agents of Cross are on my Patreon. Those are about 50 to 60 pages per book. So there's quite a handful of stuff on there. And that, would be cheaper than doing physical. But either are options. Hey, oh man, I need some water. I brought it up at the beginning of the show. Peter has a Galaxy flip phone just like me. Everybody laughed when I got the little flip phone. Who's laughing now? Spider-Man has that phone, and Ned has a fold. What Batboy asks in the comments, do I do short comics on social media? I assume you mean like like on Instagram, like I post like a panel or something like that. I'm not too sure, like a Sunday comic maybe, or like a newspaper comic. No, I usually just, I'll post like pages and stuff on like my Instagram, or pictures of my artwork on there. I kind of fell behind on my Instagram. I was posting daily alongside when every MC or Civil War video released, so I may as well finish doing that, I guess. But no, I don't post anything like that. A big thing about Spider-Man Brand New Day is I loved how stylish it was. Stylized camera works and like action scenes. That was very cool. That was so just engaging, really. Because again, don't forget, I sit 3 to 4 rows from the screen, so I was very close for everything. But that was just really cool to witness. Just how different it felt from the first 3 films. And I think my biggest takeaway from Spider-Man Brand New Day is this is a great start to this new era of the MCU's Spider-Man. And it really harkens back to the Harry Potter franchise. After Peter Parker said all those terrible things about trans people. No, it harkens back to the Harry Potter stuff because it really feels like the character and the films are growing up with the audience. Obviously, there's always going to be new kids coming in. It's Spider-Man. But the people that, grew up with the first 3 films, the MCU films, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, they're going to be older now. Spider-Man's dealing with some darker stuff. This is the 4th film, and it also, just like the 4th film of Harry Potter, it's also a darker film. It's a desaturated film. It's gray and maturing. It's very well done in pretty much every facet. I had no major issues with this movie. Aside from the fact that, god damn, is there a lot of stuff in it. Oh my god. It's like in the thumbnail. It's too much. Also, spoilers, by the way. I'm going to be spoiling this movie. It really felt like the people who worked on it played both of the Insomniac Spider-Man video games, especially. Like, you're watching the fight scenes, and that just feels directly out of the Insomniac Spider-Man games, which, is on my mind because I just finished playing it a couple months ago on the channel. Holy shit. Just the fight scenes, but especially the chase of Jean Grey through the city where she's head hopping through different people and Spider-Man's having to swing, and then he brings up his AI system and he's like, track this person, and it locks on and then it gets just out of range, so he has to get closer. That felt like it was pulled right out of a video game. That feels like something that happened in the Insomniac Spider-Man game, right? Like, you gotta swing and there's like a timer where if you fall behind, it's a fail of the mission. You gotta keep going to figure out, how can I triangulate this? How can I do that? Like, that sequence in particular, heavily video game vibes. But again, it's a lot of stuff. This was a tire. I felt exhausted watching this movie. I did see it like right after I got off work, and I wake up really early too for work, so that didn't help. But God almighty, I just really felt the length in a way that I did not feel any of the 3 times I saw Hadestown, the musical. What is everybody? There's some comments. Ian, just for his own curiosity, have I thought about doing a comic creator stream? Just curious about what my creative process is, finding what goes into writing one. That's a good idea. I did like 2 or 3 years ago, I did a stream where I was just kind of inking some comics here on my desk. And just kind of talking. I suppose I could do more stuff like that. That would be neat. It's a good idea. The Bat Boy. Now, wait a second. Is that a signed photo of J.K. Rowling? No! No, I took that off. That's off camera now. The opening montage made Logan Ritchie want a Superior Foes of Spider-Man show. Oh, that would be awesome. I love the Superior Foes of Spider-Man. That's such a great little series of comics. I highly recommend it. Yeah, I got that part right. like, I don't know. I should have went back and watched my theory video on Brand New Day to figure out what I got right and what I obviously didn't. I, in a way, got correct what was happening with Jean Grey. In my original theory was that someone was like, there's some other person who was like a telekinetic or like a monster that jumps through brains, like a Shadow King-esque character, who was head hopping and trying to get to Jean, who was locked away in the damage control base. So, in a way, I got it. It's just if I swapped some characters around, then I would have done it. I didn't see Jean being the one trying to break in to free her sister. This is also how I learned Jean Grey has a sister, by the way. That just goes to show how little I care for Jean Grey as a character. Mog says they kind of despised how there are sections of the movie that set up future MCU movies and events. Was there really? Like what? I guess like New Avengers? But like, I really felt like this was a pretty standalone film aside from like setting up future Spider-Man stuff. Like, are we gonna see Detective Jean DeWolf? Is she gonna be like classic Jean, or are they gonna adapt Ultimate Jean, who is working for the Kingpin and corrupt? I really didn't see or feel much like was being set up for anything else other than just another Spider-Man movie. The Batboy, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man verse is perfect for a Superior Foes spinoff. That would be awesome. I would love to see that. Oh, nice. Oh man, what does it say? Let's talk about Art 999. Just bought the Superior Foes of Spider-Man. Nice. I hope you enjoyed. That is a really fun series. A big issue I had with the movie was the organic spider DNA stuff. Oh my god, he's becoming more man than spider. He's more man than spider now. Or no, wait, no, fuck. He's more spider than man now. It's my terrible Obi-Wan impression. If I had time to prepare like Batman, I could have done it. What a waste of time. What a fucking waste of time in an already overbloated film with so much happening. There are so many storylines in this picture. Oh my god. But then you have the organic spider DNA bullshit. That goes nowhere, by the way. The only reason they did that was for Spider-Man to make the little chip that lets him arrest Jean. There's nothing else that comes of this. But he tears the katana in half, and he says he's both Spider and Man. He's Spider-Man and Peter Parker because the whole movie's about work-life balance, blah, 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 blah. You can do that without the stupid DNA bullshit. God damn, was that... Especially because my theory that, like, someone was trying to steal his spider genetics or something... Like, that might be how he loses it and gets the organic webbing. Like, that didn't come... Like, even that could have... not to toot my own horn, but even that could have added something to make it more interesting, right? Because while you're watching it the first time, you're like, oh, this is... like, where's this going? Unless you're me. Because I immediately did not give a shit anytime the organic webbing stuff came up. But just like, but then especially after I got done with the film and was looking back, I was like, that really went nowhere except to serve the fact that Jean has to get arrested, and how are they going to do that? Because now Spider-Man has created a fucking fascistic piece of military tech that is going to be used to detain people. Cool, thanks, wow, I'm happy with that. Jean Grey's a psycho, and Spider-Man fucking is helping out Mutant Ice. Cool. Sushi. I agree. The Tombstone design is awesome. I loved his little cameo. I loved his cool suit. I liked his sharp teeth. Tombstone's a great villain. How has Tombstone had so many great appearances? Spider-Man Brand New Day. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, where he's proto-Tombstone. Spectacular Spider-Man being the greatest of all, where he is pretty much the Kingpin. Played by Keith David? Is he Keith David in that show? Is that who it was? I can't remember. I need to rewatch Spectacular Spider-Man. Yeah, there sure does seem like a lot of future consequences for the inhibitor decies. Although, how much you guys want to bet that the inhibitor chip that Peter created doesn't come up again? Because again, I've been saying it for the past 2 years. Does any of the stuff that happens in these movies truly matter? Because we know the universe is ending. We know stuff is going to change. The universe is being rewritten. But, I don't know, Iron Man's going to be slightly younger. Captain America's going to be a different dude. And the X-Men and Fantastic Four are going to be there, along with a handful of other characters. Ghost Rider's now going to be there. Like, it's the same with, like, Black Panther's son, T'Challa 2. How are they going to explain that? Is he going to be T'Challa 2 from another universe where he's just older? Is there going to be a time jump on Battleworld that ages him up to David Johnson, who's fucking incredible in The Long Walk, by the way? I cried so many times watching that movie. Like, what the fuck is going to go on? And then especially with the X-Men and Peter Parker and Spider-Man, they can't really bring that up because it's a Sony movie. Like, they're probably not going to tie those together. So, like, are they just going to introduce Trask, who, like I said, I think last time when I did a live, just bring back Peter Dinklage because he's awesome as Bolivar Trask. I love him. That's like one of my favorite parts about Days of Future Past is him being a fucking crazy good dude. Just give I'm sure they have the wig and mustache sitting around somewhere. I need water. Iceman and Firestar aren't going to be amazing friends with him considering the proto-inhibitor, says Logan. Oh man, that is a good observation, dude. I think it'd be cool if they did like an adaptation of the Ultimate Firestar, where she's like somebody Peter. Oh my god, what if MJ's the MCU Firestar, and they adapt the Ultimate version of where like it's Liz Allen, she's like a classmate of Peter's. Ian's friend had a good observation. He said each major character represented possible futures for Jean. Peter was loneliness. Hulk was the monster. Frank was the angel of vengeance. That's a good point. That's a really cool way to look at it. I like that. I don't have anything to oppose or agree with for it. I just like that look. That's a really nice way to, be involved and interact with a movie. It's seeing these kind of deeper values that may or may not actually be there. That's what I love about like analyzing stories. Why is damage control in the MCU Ice Agents? Why can't they be blue collar icons, says Dog Hyper. That's because Tony Stark invented them. Super Pooper Scooper. Makes me laugh every time. Just finished watching The Long Walk. That's so good. It made me cry several times. Here's the thing about The Long Walk. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. I wanted to watch it, but I just never had time to last year, and then I finally took the time to do it just this past week. I cried less than I thought, because I get very emotional in movies. Even comics will make me cry. But, like, most of that film was, like, I didn't cry because I was just filled with despair. Wait, hold on. Mog says in the chat that there's a poster of Kingpin? Where is that at? I know that there's a picture of Scar, the Hulk's alien son, on Bruce's desk at his office or whatever, but where the hell is there a poster of Kingpin? Is it like one of his like promotional like electoral posters? Or is it like a wanted poster? Also, was there anything like Stan Lee or Ditko or like any other Spider-Man creator references in this movie besides the list of names at the very end of the credits? Logan says, if I'm going to do Civil War sequels, recommend covering Thunderbolts presents Zemo Born Better. Yeah, I've never heard of that one. Obviously I know Thunderbolts and how it continues past that, but I've never heard of Born Better. Sushi likes Boomerang and thinks Superior Spider-Man is a good book. I agree. I think that is probably the last time, probably the last great era of Spider-Man, I think, is when Doc Ock was in his fucking body. Going back to my notes on stuff. So I already covered just how much there was in this film. And I enjoyed it. but I didn't love it. Like I said, it's a great start to the new trilogy. I was surprised that there's no Daily Bugle or J. Jonah Jameson present in this film. That's weird, right? Like, where was he at? The only thing we got newsworthy, like any news channel, is Spectrum? Like Spectrum News Channel. Is that a real thing? Is that a thing in New York? Or is that like some weird, like fake company that they created for this fucking movie? Every time something news related popped up on screen, it was always being presented by a company called Spectrum. Not the internet company either. This is my favorite depiction of the Punisher in the MCU. I have always been against the MCU Punisher, bringing about many interesting comments in the videos, but I don't like him in his show. I don't like the Punisher show. This is my favorite take on Frank Castle since his appearance in Daredevil Season 2. I thoroughly enjoyed him more here than I did at all watching the first season of the Punisher show. Still haven't seen One Last Kill. I also really loved, this might be controversial, I loved the Hand in this movie. I love that they're so pathetic now after, like, Madame Gao and whoever else are dead, like the proper leaders, that they're like just younger, like, students who didn't rank that high, and they tried to be a thing, and Spider-Man kicked their asses, and now by the time of 2028, they're working for security, for damage control. That is just such a crazy comic book concept. It's like just a weird idea, like that this bureaucrat government official just has ninja bodyguards, like walking through the damage control offices. It's kind of just like a regular government office, and then you pass ninjas. I really liked that. I thought that was really fun. Mog says the scene where Peter first tests the inhibitor chip. There's a Kingpin poster on the dumpster? Huh, neat. Bad Boy says, yo Blake, what would be a DC event I would dedicate time to like I did Civil War? Probably Final Crisis. I don't know. I guess maybe just, I don't know. Probably Final Crisis. That's my other favorite one after the original. All the other ones I don't really care about. I can't really think of any other big event that like holds my attention like the Marvel ones do. It'd be funny if there was a clip of Flash and Jonah on a podcast arguing back and forth. Or like Flash has become like a Spider-Man influencer now or something. Although we all know that Flash was apprehended by Chris Hansen. Chris Hansen exists in the MCU, and his show is airing in 2028. Do I think Danny Rand just sits about because seemingly everyone is better doing his job of fighting the Hand in the MCU? Asks Logan. Poor Danny. I hope he just kind of has a happy life, just hanging out with Luke, taking care of their kid. Or their kid. Oh my god. Here's a pitch for Disney Plus. 2 men and a baby. But it's Luke and Danny, and Jessica and Colleen go out of town for the weekend, and they have to watch Danielle. I don't know if I've ever brought this up before, but I just thought of my pitch for a DC or Disney Plus, like, I don't know, like a little show or something, like the Groot show or something. And it was, I came up with this when my wife and I were watching Hawkeye. It's called Happy Go Lucky, and it is about Happy Hogan having to dog sit and watch Lucky the Pizza Dog. I don't know, you could do like a 20-30 minute short maybe, or just like, 6 short episodes, like 5 minutes each, if that. What are my other things? Oh yeah, here's something I didn't like, is how much they redo from the first Tobey Maguire film. Did you notice that? Anybody notice that? Or is that me? They redo, obviously, the organic webbing. They do the rooftop scene where he's trying to do that. It's just a different camera angle. He doesn't say Shazam. They do the Peter whoosh, going slow-mo as something passes him. Like when Flash swings his fist, or the pumpkin bomb. Is it a bomb or like a spike or something? In this one, it's the ninja star. Um, I think there was other stuff that I just can't. Those are the ones that come to mind. But I feel like I just kept noticing stuff being redone from the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. And again, I could just not care less about anything involved in that storyline. I hated it. That was my least favorite part of the movie. And it's just, again, so exhausting of a film, at least for me. And I really felt that rundown nature of Peter. And the fact that 4 years are covered in like the first 15, 20 minutes. Holy shit. That was just like seeing him just get downtrodden. Yeah, also Mog brings up a good point. How's Peter getting money? Crypto, maybe? Maybe he's, he's working online. He's on Fiverr. What is he building? What is he 3D printing? Because we see the 3D printer constantly. They show it a lot. But they never show what the fuck he's making. And then the other time we see is when he comes back and he's come all over his apartment with the with his webs. And it's just like gooping out. It's just like liquidizing fucking 3D printing materials. Like, what is he building? I guess stuff for his suit. Ian says they basically rehashed Peter's self-doubt inability to balance his life arc from Spider-Man 2, except it was his spider DNA taking him over instead of him repressing it. That's true. They also do Spider-Man falling from a great distance in a back alley in both films. He makes phones? What? Oh, he's making... Wait... Is that what's happening? Logan says he makes phones. I guess he is. Looking back, I guess so. I thought he was just working on his own phone. And like that was just like a scrap pile of stuff. Like he just needs like the technology that's in a phone for his equipment, such as a Galaxy Flip 7. But yeah, I guess so. I guess that's what he's doing. Is he 3D printing cases? Because you know what's a pain in the ass to find is a case for a flip phone. Ryan wishes he went full man spider. I'm so glad he didn't. I don't know. I feel like that would have really put a damper on this film for me if he grew extra arms. No way MCU Peter has enough money to DoorDash. Oh yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, Mog, because that leads into my next note, which is, did you notice did you notice the product placement? Oh my god, he's eating Little Caesars every goddamn night. Every time he's eating Little Caesars pizza. And obviously, why wouldn't they? Because they did the promotion with Little Caesars where you can get a Spider-Man pizza, whatever the fuck that means. I think it's just like a different cheeses draped over top by a teenager or someone who's getting paid like less than minimum wage probably to work in a hot kitchen alone. But, oh my god, I couldn't believe every time Little Caesars popped up. To the point where I was like, do they even have that in New York? Or is it like a Jack in the Box situation where it just doesn't exist on the West Coast, but he's still getting it? That... And then, of course, like Sony, Samsung. I was definitely okay with the Samsung phones because obviously I own one, and now I can say I have the phone Spider-Man has. And I love that Ned has the Fold, because of course Ned has the Fold phone that opens up like a little book. That fits his character so well, right? Can we all agree to that? And then, I'm surprised that Liquid IV didn't show up more in this movie. Like last live show I did where we were talking about the Liquid IV commercials being canon to the MCU. Then there's, the car billboards. There's the big one where when he's riding the subway train. Here's one you might not have noticed. It's a bit of a blink and you'll miss. Little cameo, little thing here and there, little Easter egg. Did anybody notice the bureau boxes at the bodega? Because I did, and I wouldn't have thought anything about it if I hadn't seen the plethora of advertisement videos Tom Holland is doing for the Beero brand. Beero is a non-alcoholic beer, because as someone who hates beer, I think it's piss water. It tastes disgusting. And I think the only reason people like it is because their taste buds die. If there's one thing I think would really get me to drink a beer is if I couldn't get drunk and ignore the awful taste. Eating pizza every night still has that body? Well, Ian, he has a very fast metabolism. He has a spider metabolism. Is that legal? Batboy asks. Peter's 3D printed phones. I don't know. Like, what does that mean? Like, is he 3D printing actual? Is he 3D printing the phones he's using? Because there's a lot of shit that goes into a fold phone, especially the screen. You see that? Look at how that's bending. Look at that. How's he making that? This fucking like weird. I don't know how this works. I'm sure Peter does. He's a smart guy, but like, how are you doing that? What does everybody else say? Ian would buy a black market Spider-Man phone. I also love Little Caesars, Diego, and I agree. There's no way in hell that there's not just cheaper food and better pizza in New York. New York City, and he's ordering Little Caesars. Maybe it's off screen. Maybe like just off screen of that same street set that they keep showing him on. Maybe there's just a Little Caesars across the road, and that's why he's door dashing it, because it's like 5 cents or something added onto the total bill because the delivery person has to walk 3 steps. Yes, cool. You did miss the end of Oak Street discussion. That was at the beginning. That was about almost 2 hours ago. The asbestos gave him. I forgot there's asbestos in that. I don't know. Maybe. Probably. We're getting headcanons from Samsung ads now, Logan. What is happening? Oh, in one of the ads, he prints it? Hey, Batboy, watch it. I agree with Logan. If I say, unless it's like one of those commercials, like I mentioned last time, where it's like the Hulk's rampage is stopped by a can of Coke, I think they could fit. You know? Why not? Those Liquid IV ads, they don't do anything that says otherwise. You know, it's kind of how I view like the Star Wars universe and like the main canon versus the EU, because the EU is simultaneously better and worse. But like there's so much stuff where it's like, oh yeah, Wedge Antilles went on, or you know, Biggs Darklighter or whoever, Wedge went on this mission and did this and that while Luke was over there during the movie. Like that doesn't interfere with the film. To the same point, the Liquid IV ads and the Samsung ads also don't really interfere with what we see, so why not? Do I think Ned could survive End of Oak Street? Fuck no. The main characters could barely survive. You know what's weird? Here's the thing about Ned. And this actually leads into a good situation because I'm about to talk about Ned and MJ returning. I actually liked that. I brought up before how when No Way Home ended, I was glad that we were finally, like, we were moving past, we would be getting new cast of characters in this next film. And then when they announced Zendaya and Jacob Batalon were coming back as MJ and Ned respectively, I was like, god damn it. But they were actually my favorite part of the movie, the stuff with them. But here's the thing. Jacob Batalon has alopecia. He's like, you know, completely bald. He doesn't body hair on his head. So, like, why do they keep putting him in these weird wigs? Just have him. He looks so good without hair, which is something you really want to have happen if you have alopecia. But he rocks that look, and I really love his sense of fashion too. But, or at least the fashion that like the stylists give him. But like, just don't make him wear the wig. Like, his head's probably getting hot. I want to see Ned be bald. Make Ned bald. Can we get a hashtag make Ned bald going? Can we work on getting that trending by the time that Spider-Man 5 comes out? Ned finally doesn't have hair. Not because, making fun of somebody who has alopecia or whatever, because I think he just looks better without the hair. The CEO doesn't need to explain his obsession with wigs. Oh my god, Ned Hobgoblin, don't get me started. I don't want that at all. Diego says, I don't know about anyone here, but when Punisher shot Spidey, I was the only one in the theater who knew what was coming from the end of Ultimate Spider-Man. Yeah, I'm glad you bring that up. I don't know if I had a note about it, but that was a thing too. That just adds on to my whole issue with, they did so much in this movie. So much. They take so many storylines. Spider-Man getting shot, that comes from two different things. That is end of Ultimate Spider-Man, and the Avengers versus Ultimates crossover, where Punisher's trying to shoot for Captain America's shin or something, or his knee, but Spidey dives in the way and takes the bullet, and Punisher feels fucking terrible about himself. But it also adapts Frank carrying him into a medical unit from Civil War. And then I started thinking, that whole sequence takes maybe 10 minutes of time? And yes, I loved seeing New York bring their support for Spider-Man. That was one of my favorite aspects. I love that about Spider-Man 3, and I loved it about this, is the city loves Spider-Man. I was really worried that when Peter almost killed those cops, that his spider DNA was going to make him act more rash, and they were going to revert a status quo to him being hated and feared, and the cops are after him or something. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But the Peter getting hospitalized, getting shot, does that add anything to the movie? Why put it here? Because Punisher's in it, I guess. But, you don't want to save it for, something later? And make it more impactful? Oh, he gets shot. Bleeds out a lot. Because he got shot by a 50 caliber bullet. Jean keeps him fucking stable. There's a deleted scene with Claire, the night nurse from the Netflix shows. There's a deleted scene of Punisher hassling some cops in the hospital, apparently. And then he wakes up, and then Punisher puts on his mask, and he's like, why was he making the noises? Why? When he's motioning to the crowd, I guess to pump himself up. Why is he making the noises in the empty hospital room? For the people outside can't hear him. And I do really like Punisher and Peter's relationship. And I was thinking about it Frank, trying to look into it deeper, Frank must look at Peter, or is Spider-Man, realize Spider-Man's just a young kid, a 20-something, and be like, that could have been my son. I don't know I don't know when Frank's family gets killed. Do they ever say? When does that happen? I honestly don't remember. But could you line it up and see the year Frank's family died compared to how old Peter is? Could Peter be around the same age as Frank's kids? There's maybe, I don't know. But there's got to be something there deep inside Frank Castle's broken psyche that's I am connecting to this young man because I truly deep down so desperately want my family back that he's kind of I don't know, imprints upon Spider-Man in a way, and has that kind of, it's a weird it's almost like a stepfather relationship, really. But I did like that. How Frank Castle did not get arrested at all? Yeah, right? They just let him go. Also, he just is out and about a lot in this movie. When his van gets fucking destroyed, and he just walks away. Ian says he thinks that they just wanted to give Peter a win, feeling appreciated after all his suffering and silence. He liked it. I also liked it. I do. Like I said, I love that scene. I was tearing up just seeing, just seeing people come together as a community, as a whole. That always gets me teared up. And I did like that. But again, I wish it would have been more impactful. I wish it wouldn't have just been tacked on to an already long movie. Air Cool asks who I want to be villains in the next movie. I don't even know. I'd like to see Scorpion just kind of come back. I think Scorpion could be like Scorpion could be like Spider-Man's Batroc. Like, just have him come back every now and then. I guess Batroc didn't really do that. He only did it in the show, right? But I think that would be fun if just like he becomes almost like in the Ultimate Comics with the Shocker, how Scorpion's just always kind of there. So MJ and Ned, like I said, I was apprehensive about their return. That was like the best thing of this film, was the character moments, the quiet stuff, the connection, and Peter going to like the house party and seeing the stuff with Ned and like his weird spider board and all that, and like them connecting and Maynard and everything such as. I really enjoyed that. I should have grabbed it. Here, let me get up. Yeah, real quick. Don't look at my stuff. I got this at the theater yesterday when I went to End of Oak Street, which is really cool. It's just a little recreation of the drawing that MJ did. It's like a postcard for some reason. But this scene of them, what are they? They're building the X-Wing Lego set, and they're quoting Lord of the Rings to each other. I was crying. Full on. I'm getting teared up thinking about it. It's just such a sweet scene. It's a sweet scene. It's an emotional scene. Just that connection that is still there. And like, obviously they connect and get along well. They have that same line of thought. They're best friends for years before the mind wipe and everything. I thought that was just a beautiful moment. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Johnny, yes, I do agree, though. It is creepy at the beginning, or, those 4 years where Peter's just kind of stalking MJ and Ned on Instagram. That is odd. Yeah, I'm glad that they didn't linger on that. That was a thing I worried about in the comic, or from the trailer. I was like, oh man, how much are they going to focus on Peter just being like an internet stalker to his ex-girlfriend who doesn't remember him? Because that's not how you get somebody to root for your character. Unless you're that guy who made the video about Bear from Obsession. Is that the movie? Obsession. Is that right? I don't remember. Yes, cool. Venom Scorpion, I would be okay with that. I'm a big opponent to Venom, to the goop. To the symbiote, I don't like it, but I think Venom Scorpion could be very cool. No, Mellow Marshy. Not Morbius. I don't want him back. Hello, Catty Batty. Welcome to the stream. We're getting near the end after 2 hours. I am currently discussing Spider-Man Brand New Day. We finally got to it. Mog says, Frank also doesn't have a red lunatic be hypocrite, and that doesn't bring up his dead family every time he messes up. Yeah, true. Yeah, Daredevil's not there trying to be both a devil and an angel on his shoulder, or just a judgmental prick. Spider-Man just kind of accepts Frank for who he is, I guess. Spider-Man wants Frank to be a better person. Daredevil is just being very Catholic about it. So yeah, I talked about Ned and Jacob Batalon. Hashtag make Ned bald. I'm going to type it in the chat right here. Hashtag make Ned bald. Can we, let's get that going. Now, I'm not saying go to Jacob Batalon's account or the official Spider-Man and Marvel accounts on social media and say that a lot. But, I can't stop you if you want to. Caddy, really like the movie personally. Feels more in line with classic Spidey stories that I feel like we've been... That is true. I 100% agree. This is very much a Spider-Man story. But that's also why I like it. I like that we had that buildup and that they didn't immediately jump into this, because it would have I feel like it would have been a mess. I'm glad that we got the, like, John Hughes-esque coming-of-age homecoming. We got the Far From Home and No Way Home. I brought it up earlier. You might not have been here, but it's very much the Spider-Man and the MCU movies are aging up with the audience, which I really enjoy. And I can't wait to see where the next 2 films go. And maybe the next 3. Ooh. But yeah, Jacob Batalon, hashtag make Ned bald. Let's get that going, guys. Zendaya. What a great actor she is. Great stuff from her in this. I haven't seen The Odyssey. I don't care enough to, but I'm sure she's great in that too. But goddamn, I really liked her, like, where MJ has landed in 2028. I kind of sided with her on the little argument she and Ned have during the party where she's like, I don't want to sell out my soul to work in an office job. Like, I want to at least do something that I'm more interested in. I was like, oh, I get where you're coming from, MJ. She was great. And I really loved, I think the standout was the rooftop scene. After, Peter gets her and, leaves Jean trapped in the helicopter or whatever. Which, looking back, makes sense why Jean could just get out. Because she can just snap out of it. But Peter seemingly thought it was like some kind of entity jumping back and forth. But, goddamn. That rooftop scene where they're on the neon sign. And then MJ starts being like, oh my God, Peter? I remember, blah, 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 blah. I remember this and that. Blah. I was like, oh my God, they're doing it. And I started crying. And it emotionally hit me. Because I was like, oh my God, that makes sense. Because MJ's a fucking weirdo. Of course she believes in this stuff and is like more open-minded to it. And it did trick me. I got tricked just as easily as Peter did. Until they hugged. As soon as they connected and embraced, I was like, fuck. Jean, you redheaded bitch. But then, MJ slinking back towards the edge of the building, there's just something about Zendaya's physicality during that one moment that I was like, oh my God, she needs to play some kind of villain in the future. She would be so good as just a villainous character. Just how she, like, positioned her body, how she was moving when it's Jean fucking taunting him and moving her closer to the edge. That just really blew me away. Just Zendaya walking. And of course I cried several times. Caddy says, with the much more mature tone of this movie, I'm wondering if they might do the death of Jean DeWolf. Yes, I also think they will. Again, it's up in the air whether or not Jean's going to be a good cop or she's going to be a dirty cop, but I guarantee with how much they put into this movie about Jean, and like her kids. What are her kids' names, by the way? Can I find that? Brand New Day. Let's see. I'll get to the stuff about Sadie Sink in just a moment. Cool. I need to figure out what Jean DeWolf's children's names are. Do they say? I know Peter says it right at the end. Wikipedia isn't helping me. I should have gone to IMDb, the Internet Movie Database. God damn it, where's the link? Come on. Load. Top cast. I don't even know. What am I looking at? I guess I would assume their last name is also DeWolf, right? I gotta check something. God damn it, they only fucking show her. Oh yeah, the apartment girl. I forgot about her. Hey, if anybody knows what Jean DeWolf's kids are, because the way I'm thinking is, please don't make her... Yeah, fucking yes, Johnny just said it right as I was about to say it. I was like, please don't make her son Miles Morales. That's where this whole thing was going to. I was like, fuck, are they gonna make him Miles? And then she dies. And then he becomes Spider-Man. Oh my god, a lot of people in this cast list are just called The Inhabited, that is a pretty good name for a villain. The Inhabited? Oh, it's D23. Oh, it's 7 already. Oh my god. D23 is happening. What's going on? Be my eyes and ears, Bat Boy. What's going on? We're getting to the Marvel event now. I didn't expect it to be a 2.5 hour long podcast. Christ. Oy vey. That's gonna have to be next week, the D23 stuff. The boat scene after the Hulk fight is some of the best MCU drama I've seen. Yeah, I agree. I love the everything. Just with, MJ and Peter and hanging out with fucking, what's his name? EJ and Marley. Oh. Never mind. Thank God we're safe from that. Okay, Air Cool. What are my thoughts on Jean Grey? Jean being the main villain is the only thing that throws him off. I agree. Sadie Sink obviously is a fantastic actor. Incredible. But yeah, it was weird that they're starting Jean off in this very hard, very off-putting version of her. Very villainous, but hey, that's why Professor X does what he does. Because Jean is a lost soul. Jean is misguided. She's just a kid of an ambiguous young age who seemingly very recently developed her powers or learned how to do her powers and had her sister kidnapped by mutant ice. Well, when did that flashback take place? Because they didn't exactly age her down. So it's just like this past summer is what it seemed like. Really, my main takeaway from Jean, I'm fine with her being the villain. Like I just said, that's kind of the whole, like, her storyline in this, and then the carry on to like her leaving the city on a bus and then getting picked up seemingly by Professor X. That is pretty much an X-Men comic book. That's like an episode from X-Men Evolution. Is like a begotten soul, a misbegotten soul, lost person who has mutant powers doing wrong because they're scared. And then Professor X comes and saves them and teaches her the ways of good. And then, she's, what's the word I'm looking for when you become a better person? But like, that's what's gonna happen. That's a cool story. This is something interesting with Jean Grey where she doesn't die. How about that? Like I mentioned earlier, I didn't know that she had a sister named Sarah, so this was a shock to me. I figured it was like a sister, mom, or something. I'd never heard of that character in my life, because I don't care about Jean Grey. Because really, what does she have going for her? Other than telekinesis and telepathy. Being Scott Summers' girlfriend. Being attractive and redheaded. And hanging out with the X-Men. Also dying. 5 things. There's 5 things about Jean Grey, and none of them are interesting. That really covers my kind of whole Jean Grey outlook upon this. Caddy says they were originally a huge opponent of Jean being in this movie, but when they saw it, they were so surprised at how well she was done, especially near the end and the moment. Yeah, that was... Oh yeah, the stuff with Aunt May, that was really cool. Why was Peter in that jacket and hoodie, by the way, in that memory? Where did that come from? Why wasn't he just in like other clothes? Like, what was that set of clothes? Ian says, Peter did a better job of saving Jean than Professor X. Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. And he didn't have to scramble her brain to suppress her powers to do it. Hey, he hasn't scrambled her brain or repressed her powers yet. Jean also has a large amount of hypothetical children. Let's not talk about that. Let's instead talk about the other stuff. I just wish Peter could care for Ned more, his best friend. Yeah, I wish that they would have... Well, he does reveal it at the end. Because Ned... It's a fun way that Ned finds out, Johnny boy. Is that... MJ lets it slip that Spider-Man's name is Peter. Ned catches that. Some time passes. Peter sees him in the bodega corner store, cafe, wherever it is. Cafe, I think, because he's eating there or whatever. And then Ned puts two and two together. Hi, my name is Peter. Oh, boy, I thought you were in Maynard. No, my name is Peter. Peter? Like, that got me. Gave me chills when I watched it, because I was so happy that Ned, hashtag make Ned bald, gets to hang out with his, like, friend again. And, they gotta rebuild that stuff up, but they fucking clicked immediately like magnets, so that shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, Mog, poor Hulk spent years suppressing the Hulk only for a redhead to bring it out again. What was the other redhead? Well, Scarlet Witch isn't redhead. She's brunette. She doesn't become a redhead until WandaVision. It's like calling me a redhead. Don't do it. People always say I'm redheaded. I'm not. I mean, it's pretty realistic for a guy to pine for his ex more than his buddy, says Cool. That's true. He was pining for both of them. He followed Ned's account online. Ian, playing devil's advocate is someone who's fallen out of contact with friends. It can be difficult to break the ice and reach out. Peter's struggling to find the right time. Yeah, I agree. Struggling to find the right time felt very real. Absolutely. Mog, I will find you. I'll make it look like an accident, too. My terrible Mike Myers as the Cat in the Hat. Caddy, this is really random, but I like how the original version of the Civil War Spidey suit used in filming that was replaced later is now canon through some photos. Really? That's cool. Yeah, I just learned about that original suit like this past week. I saw a video about it. That's neat, I guess. Interesting. I don't know how that works. How's that explained? I guess you could say it's like a suit that he had maybe during the intervening 4 years. Because otherwise it doesn't really make sense if he had it, like, 12 years prior? Fuck me, 12 years have passed since, like, in their universe, since the Civil War happened, since Peter got flown to Germany? Is that where that airport is? Yeah, I did feel bad for the Hulk. That sucks. Hulk, although, is a fun addition, and I'm very interested to see where that goes, because he's a giant monster, and he fucking grows. Who else was blown away when Hulk just kept getting bigger? He's like the size of the Ang Lee Hulk now. The Ang Lee Hulk, funnily enough, I watched the night after I got home from seeing Spider-Man Brand New Day. Never seen it before in my life. That is a great movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. 5 stars. You can see the review on my Letterboxd. I'm really pushing my Letterboxd on this episode. But yeah, the Hulk. That was really cool. I just like, I like Mark Ruffalo. I like his take on Bruce Banner. I like seeing the Hulk fucking do stuff. I really liked this new version of the Hulk, which makes me think, are they doing something with the Hulk? Because there are rumors that Marvel has owned the rights to the Hulk since at least 2023. They got the film rights back from Universal Pictures. Could they be doing something leading into World War Hulk, or at least having a production of it? Maybe they'll say so tonight, because it's currently 7:26 p.m. PST, and that fucking Disney event panel goes until 9 p.m. It's a 2-hour-long panel. But why else would they make him get so big? Why would they put so much emphasis on Big Hulk? If they, and also like him getting away, or well, he doesn't get away. He gets put into a fucking medical ambulance. I really feel like they're doing something with the Hulk, especially if those rumors are true that they did get like the rights or whatever back, like the full rights, like the I think it's the distribution. I don't know. I've seen people bring up that it could be possible that Marvel got the rights for the Hulk stuff in the past couple years. Take that with a huge grain of salt. Take that with like a Hulk-sized grain of salt, which would be like that. I think if that's true, then this seems like a pretty like obvious kind of setup for future Hulk stuff. But here's another thing. Is Mark Ruffalo going to be Hulk once they reboot the universe? And also, there's that concept art that I bring up whenever Secret Wars comes up. And the concept art was a medieval township within a massive brick wall, possibly a castle courtyard, and everyone are Hulk. They're all hulked out. It's just a bunch of hulked out people. It's like a universe where a massive gamma bomb went off and everybody became a Hulk. But like, civilization's okay. But also medieval. It's like a Hulk Ren Fair. And She-Hulk's walking around and like, I can't remember if she's with somebody who might be the Hulk or is just a Hulk, but whatever. So like, is Hulk gonna have a storyline in whatever happens on Battle World? Is Hulk gonna work with Doctor Doom? This is the most I've ever said Hulk in my life, I think. I feel like I'm having a stroke. A stroke. Like, could Hulk... Because Maestro is part of this, like the leadership of Battle World in the comics, so there is precedent there. There's grounding to, step off from for the Hulk being involved in Doctor Doom stuff and the Secret Wars, rather. But there's got to be something. There's got to be something, right? This brings it out to a close at roughly 2.5 hours. And that is some final notes I have, and then I'll get into the chat and we'll, anything else. Yelena Belova. Really fun addition. I love Florence Pugh. I think she's a great add-on. I love how much she's getting to do. Get that paycheck, sister. It reminds me of Ultimate Spider-Man interacting with like the Ultimates and Nick Fury on occasion. There's an issue where something happens to Peter and they need to draw his blood. And so they send Janet, the Wasp, in like a SHIELD security van to like pick him up in the parking lot of the school. And they have a little brief interaction where they're talking. And he's like, wow, you're really on the Ultimates? That's so cool. I want to be on the Ultimates. Like, he kind of gives it away or whatever. It's a cute little scene. But very reminiscent of that. Him interacting with the new Avengers or having some connection to them. However, I am not a fan of the small potato, a big potato stuff. And how often that came up. I do not like this is small potato. I do not deal with small potato. I deal with big potato, Spider-Man. This is not big potato. That just kept happening over and over and over. And I could tell in the theater that this was going to be another dumb joke that everybody gets obsessed with. Just like Drax thinking he's invisible, and why was Thor crying from Deadpool and Wolverine? Two jokes that I hate vehemently. I don't think they're funny at all. Oh, thank you very much, John of Arc. I assume that's... I'm trying to figure out what MYR stands for. Thank you so much. What is that called? A super chat? What does this heart do? What does this say? Hold on, it's giving me the option to do something. Send a heart. Oh. There you go, I hearted it. Thank you so much. You're my first super chat ever. I'm going to take a screenshot of this just so I have it. I don't know if that froze the recording. It might have. Thank you very much for that. Will I do a figure collection tour? I'm going to like it too. Yes, I do plan on doing a figure collection tour once I get everything cleaned up and organized. I mentioned it probably about 2 hours ago. I figured it was Malaysian. Thank you for speaking such. But there's some stuff I would need to redo. There's figures falling down. Star Wars has fallen. My Marvels have fallen. Ghostbusters were falling down for a while. If you watch a lot of the earlier Civil War videos, you can see, like, the new Ghostbusters, like, fucking, what's her name? McKenna Grace's character is still laying on the ground. The floor is just covered with shit that I bought because I was having a fucking manic episode. I was like, oh, maybe if I buy action figures, I'll be happy. I got this. I gotta do a video about this. I might have had some drinks one night and went to eBay or Mercari and bought a Marvel Universe Sentinel. And he talks. That was close. Oh, he's talking again. yeah, I really, now that I have more free time and now that everything's kind of calmed down, um, I gotta review a bunch of action figures. I got customs I want to build. Um, and I gotta start fucking getting this all organized. I need to get risers too because hold on. I got this. And I bought this. And I got this. Along with a handful, like 3 others. So Darth Maul, Sidious, and Ray Stevenson's character from Ahsoka. Just because he's my favorite Star Wars character. I love him. Hey, Sideshow has a pretty cool kind of like layaway plan, you know, like a payment plan, which I found out and immediately bought those dolls. Shut up, cool. But yeah, once I finally get around to organizing everything, getting it all set up properly, I'm definitely going to do an office tour. You can kind of see a little bit of it during the, I did a comic collection organizing video last year. After we had moved in. So I think it's called Too Many Comics or something like that on the channel. So if you want to check that out, that gives you a little bit of a view. You can see like my indie pen or my floppy issues over there. You can see my floppies. Thank you so much, Mog, for the super chat. Keep up the videos, boss man. Hashtag make Ned bald. I'm going to screenshot that one too. Might freeze. Huh. Somewhere on my hard drives, I have, like, the screenshots of my YouTube channel when it had, like, I broke 1,000 views, and, like, when I get, like, 1,500 or something, like, I think I got 800 somewhere. I hold on to things. Caddy says, Big Potato to the Thunderbolts New Avenger stuff is, like, a slightly larger wall that they take a long time to lift. London Bridge is falling. John of Arc, been watching for 8 years, so happy to be my first. Thank you so much. You've been watching pretty much, if you've been watching that long, that's about as long as I've been doing the channel. Cool asks, do I think the MCU is on an upward trajectory with the recent MCU films? Yeah, I'm very hopeful. Especially, I think that the, Balin's skull. Thank you very much, Logan. I want to get his lightsaber. I think the MCU is on an upward trajectory, and I think that the reboot is going to breathe a new, fresh life. Is going to breathe a breath of fresh air? What am I saying? It's going to bring new goodness to the MCU. Is what I'm trying to say. But, I'm looking forward to pretty much everything that's coming. I think what's really coming out, I guess the thing I'm most excited for right now is probably Black Panther 3 and whatever they do with the X-Men, especially if it's inspired by Grant Morrison's new X-Men. Hopefully I do more one-shots in the future. Yeah, I would like to. Especially because they're easier to make. I want to start doing the Tales from the Dollar Bin, too. I did 3 videos of that. I think I'm just going to wind up making it one big video in the same vein of like a Red Letter Media, how they pick 3 movies. I'm just going to start picking from my fucking floppies over there. Do I have any other notes? Aside from like the Big Potato, Small Potato, I'm not a fan of that, like I said. Final couple notes. Iman Esfandi, a.k.a. Ezra Bridger, a.k.a. Jabba the Hutt. You might not have noticed this. Everybody, including myself, thought he would be Paul. Paul Rabin? No. Although apparently some closed captions said he's Paul, but I don't trust that because the official credit for his character, I saw it. He is credited as the boyfriend. What a name, what a villainous name. And finally, moving on to the final note of the show, only 2 hours and 40 minutes in, is the post-credits scene. Boo! I can't remember if I said it during the live show or if I said it last episode. I've probably said it a handful of times in early episodes before this too. My dream scenario would have been Peter and his friends hanging out, and then the scene becomes the adaptation of the final story from the Ultimate X-Men with Miles Morales, where he and his friends defeat the villains, and they go up to the roof to, like, get their bearings and celebrate that they're all together and they're all happy. Oh my god! What is that? What symbol is this? Goodness gracious, cool. Philippines have pesos. I did not know. I'm learning so much. Thank you so much. I like that it's gold, too. I like that color. Oh, thank you very much, Cool. That means a lot to me. Everybody who's giving me cash. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so much, guys. Cool's gonna bounce, do a post-endgame pre-Doomsday MCU ranking live. That's going to be really boring, because I love a lot of these movies, so they're all going to be pretty high up. I guess if I really dive into it, I could probably do it, but I'm going to screenshot this, so I might freeze. Did I freeze last time I did it? I don't know, because it freezes my computer. Thank you so much, everyone. Especially the people who have been here the whole time, and or even are still tuning in. It really does mean a lot. I'm glad you guys like the live streams and everything. I like talking to you. Because I don't really... Go back to the very first episode of the Comic Schtick Podcast. The whole main reason I started this was because I just don't have anybody in my personal life who likes comics to the extent that I do, and like everybody else here does. So I don't get to have these conversations. So I was like, well, I'll just force them upon my viewers. I also wanted him to be the villain Christian. That was my whole theory, is that Imanis Fondi's character was going to either be the villain or be like the sidekick to the real villain, who I thought was Keith David, but Keith David just did a documentary. Aaron Express 87 asks, do I follow any other comic-based YouTubers? Pretty much just Comic Pop. I never, like, got into Comicstorian or Comics Explained or really any of the other ones. The other big one, I don't even know who else to say. Panels to Pixels to Panels or something. That guy does good stuff, but I don't really follow him. Just kind of pops up every now and then if I see it. Comic Pop is really the only one that I exclusively follow. Sal, Tiffany, Ben, Ethan, they're fantastic. I'm such a nerd for Comic Pop that I have installed a program on my computer called Jellyfin. And that is, if you've heard of Plex, it's like that, but better and also free, where you can have your own like hosting thing. You can make your own Netflix. I'm such a fucking nerd that I have gone in and created a whole TV series listing for Comic Pop. And I have been going through and downloading every episode. I think I'm in like 2023, 2024 now. Because, you know, it's 52 episodes because they do one a year. I have been going through downloading episodes of Comic Pop's back issues, labeling them by the seasons and episode titles to have saved for future viewings in case, I don't know, YouTube goes down or something. And also I just like, I don't know, collecting things, I guess. I'm like the collector. I never watched Comic Drake. I don't really know much about him. Yeah, of course, yeah, rest in peace, Betty. Fuck that. Yeah. Danny Malt, I don't know who that is. He has a great variety of comics and graphic novels that he covers. The Bat Boy says, tell you what, Blake, I'll buy your current run on Custodians on my birthday if, and only if, I read the entire Vaporeon Creepypasta 6? It has to be specifically 6? I assume that's like the worst one? What does that mean? Vaporeon, is that the seal dog? Is that what that is? The dog seal Pokemon? Oh, man. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, the credits scene. Yeah, so I was hoping it was going to be like Peter, MJ, Ned, maybe hanging out, in their apartment or like on the roof or just chilling out, doing something, walking down the fucking street, singing "Do Why Diddy Biddy Dum Diddy Dum," and they would just like have a normal scene. Like it's just the audience would think, oh, this is just a fun little moment. Like, you know, oh, I was hoping, oh shucks, I was hoping it would lead into something. And then it reveals, you know, whatever. And then they would look up and they would see a giant Earth encroaching upon to their own Earth. And the incursion would begin, and it would lead directly into, what is it called? Avengers Doomsday. Or whatever, the incursions. We kind of got that. We got that in the most boring way possible. Why does Ned's app extend that far out? Why can you zoom out that far? Also, it's funny that I'm bringing this issue up, but I don't have an issue with viewing the Samsung or Liquid IV ads as canon to the MCU. But with this post-credits scene, I'm like, well, actually, I don't think this works. Because if we take it at face value that this is something that happens, who the fuck on that other Earth is reporting a Spider-Man sighting on this app? And obviously it's Tobey Maguire, it's Tobey's Earth. Spoiler alert, earmuffs. I forgot, I did an earmuffs earlier, and I forgot to tell people to take the earmuffs off. I hope they're still not watching with the earmuffs on. Earmuffs for possible spoilers for Avengers Secret War. No, Avengers Doomsday. The rumor for a long time has been that the film opens up with the X-Men Earth, where Monica Rambeau's also at, incurring... That's not right. Incursing upon Tobey Maguire's Earth. Seemingly it's just the one that we know and love. Seemingly it's the one from No Way Home, who is the one from the first 3 films. And he fights Deadpool and Wolverine, who have been sent to that Earth with a device, probably built by Beast, to destroy it. And so, seemingly, the movie starts with... Well, now that I think about that, doesn't make sense with what we see at this post-credits scene. Could it be Andrew Garfield? Because the way that the movie is said to happen is that they fight Deadpool, Wolverine, Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire. Tobey dies. He gets fucking eviscerated. He gets blown the fuck up. And 30-something-year-old men everywhere in theaters all march out in protest that their Spider-Man is dead. But if that happens, then what the fuck does this post-credits scene? It's Spider-Ham. That is a good idea, Mog. Maybe it is Spider-Ham. Yes, talking about it out loud, I realize now that it being Tobey Maguire just doesn't make sense. Or it's just something that's not gonna... It's not gonna be... ever come up again. Answer me this. Does another Earth appear in Ned's app? Or does it just pop up with a Spider-Man face in the middle of space? Because if another Earth appears, then that means that there is an incursion. But if just a little Spider-Man pixel head pops up in space, could that mean that a Spider-Man is like aboard a ship that's traveling the multiverse? Ooh, maybe. The Bat Boy says, Secret Wars better reveal Ned as the Beyonder or Riot. If he's bald, then okay. Ian, that'll be me. My wife's boyfriend will have to escort me out before I throw a fit. Okay, Mog confirms it is just in outer space, not on another Earth. Huh. What the fuck does that mean then? Thinking about it, it's a really stupid... Really stupid post-credit scene. I was disappointed when I saw it in theaters. Now I'm even more disappointed talking about it. Yeah, it was just a Spider-Man pixel in outer space. What the fuck? Okay. I guess that just means it's Spider-Man's comic. Really what it is to get people to do what we're doing right now, which is to talk about it, obviously. But it's also just to be like, get ready, there's another Spider-Man coming, and in no way does this tie in to anything we're properly gonna see in Avengers Doomsday. That is my call right now. This may as well not have happened, is how little it'll have influence on the next major film, which of course is Avengers Doomsday. I bet it doesn't matter. I bet it's just saying, wow, this'll get people to think about another Spider-Man. So when Tobey Maguire shows up and gets blown up and Ian has to have his wife's boyfriend escort him out of the film before he throws a fit, and all the other legions of middle-aged, like 30-year-old men cry out, the general audiences will be like, oh, that's what that meant. Mog, is the Captain Marvel post-credits scene for Spider-Man movies? What? What do you mean? The Captain... what, like the little beeper? That actually built into something, though. That was actually... Is that what it was? Isn't that what it is? Yeah, like the Fury starts the beeper thing. That actually makes sense, though. Because that's him calling to Carol, which explains thus why she's in Endgame or whatever. This... I truly don't see anything coming from it. It'll be Tom Holland from the future? No, don't say that. I don't want that. I don't want old Tom Holland to show up. Oh, man. It's old Tom Holland and older Steve Rogers coming back. Old Tom Holland had to give older Steve Rogers a lift through time and space to drop him off at Tony Stark's funeral. So he could give Sam the shield because older Steve Rogers is too old to drive himself. Oh, man. There we have it. About 3 hours in, the longest comic shtick in history thus far, coinciding very well with, is this the longest Spider-Man movie that they've done? Sure felt like it. But those were my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below or in the chat currently if there's anything else, because otherwise we're wrapping it up. We're wrapping it up like Peter was wrapped up in his gross little web cocoon. What do you think of the end of Oak Street, if you watched and listened the whole time? If you haven't seen the end of Oak Street, and you're joining me now in the live chat, go and see it. It is fantastic. Mr. Miracle, we talked about Waller and Paradise Island, the fucking weird Kevin Smith Star Wars Marvel crossover that we have to endure. Also the Spider-Verse. Any thoughts or feelings on that leaked Spider-Verse trailer, if you saw it, or if you're just going off of my terrible description of it? Who do you want to see in the MCU? And what do you think of the castings that we did down there? So much was discussed. Gwyneth Paltrow. Oh, man. It'll be Tom Holland. Oh, wait. Alonzo Blue. What if it's a connection to Beyond the Spider-Verse? At some point, Miles or Miguel are going to appear in the MCU? I don't see that happening. I don't think they're going to play nice enough to have that happen. Like, I think it's pretty generous that we are getting what we have currently. I don't see any crossover with the Across the Spider-Verse stuff. I think that's very, very clearly delineated for Sony. Mellow Marshy. I also want Spider-Woman in the MCU, and I would love if it's the clone version from the Ultimate Universe. AKA the most interesting version of Spider-Woman. There, I said it. Mog. Tom Holland not getting old. Marvel Studios and Sony Pictures have sacrificed Vulture to the Sony universe for another 3 movies. Poor Vulture, man. If I was the Vulture and I realized I got sent to that universe where, like, there's just an ancillary Spider-Man somewhere, and Morbius exists, and it's Venom and Kraven and Madam Web, I would kill myself. The Bat Boy. So hypothetically, if someone bought several volumes of my comics in one batch, what would that qualify as one head sketch or several? Good question. I think when you add the stuff to the cart, I think it's, if you buy 3 comics, you're getting 3 head sketches. That's what it boils down to. Especially for the online purchases. Because I also do the head sketches in person. I will be attending Tucson Comic Con as well for any Southern Arizona, Northern Mexico viewers or listeners. I do the head sketches there as well for every purchase. I do original art and everything. But the online orders definitely get more detail put in, more time, just because I'm not having to rush. Because I also do just plain $5 head sketches of any character at the conventions if you want to buy something. So I'm pretty much busy the whole time. But yeah, if you do buy them online, it's kind of just, hey, you buy 3 books, you get 3 sketches. And then that's any character. And the head sketch is like busting up, pretty much. Tactical J, Smokey. When do I think I'm going to be doing another live stream? I don't know. I might do another one next Friday. I might just do like a D23 review overview and just live stream it because I don't really know what else I'll really be talking about. I talked about End of Oak Street. I don't think there's any other movies coming out anytime soon. Unless, hold on. When does Resident Evil come out? Is that this month? No, that's next month. That's September, right? Yeah, that's a whole month away. I guess I'll live stream next week, and we'll talk about all the stuff that came from D23. Let's check my my tab I have opened over here with all the news about D23. The Society of Adventurers and Explorers at D23. That's a thing that's only in the foreign parks. Batu Adventure Buddies. It's a lot of Disney stuff. I don't know if did they really show anything else for like fucking Marvel or Star Wars or anything that I can talk about here? Who knows? I guess I'm going to say now, I'll be live streaming next Friday. Same Smokey time, same Smokey channel, talking about D23 stuff. Alex, big fan. I got to your channel by the first Marvel Zombies video I made. Thank you very much, Alex. You'll be looking forward to October this year. I'll just say that. It's a lot more Marvel Zombies stuff. Did you know they made a Marvel Zombies manga? Let's see. Logan Ritchie, spider clones, but they've been given Superman for the Quest for Peace treatment. That would be cool if they did an MCU clone saga. That would be interesting. Particularly if they just adapt the Ultimate version, because that's the best one there is. Tom Hardy Venom will stop Doom. Morg was promised this. If someone promised you that, I would find them and punch them in the gut. Did I talk about the Doomsday trailer, Alex? Yes. When did I talk about that? I talked about that the last live stream. So, not this past episode of the Comic Schtick Podcast, but the one before that. I went into the Doomsday trailer. You can check that out on the YouTube channel. For some obnoxious reason, you can't post previous live streams directly to like the regular YouTube video tab on a channel, so you have to go to the live tab. Or if you go to the playlists on Smokey's Comic Vault, you can just find the Comic Schtick one and it'll be listed on there. Or if you're a listener and you want to listen in, you can go to like Spotify, Podbean, other places. Hypothetically, Alex asked, how many more movies do I think Tom has in him? So there's the 2 Avengers. He's probably going to be in those. And then the 2 other Spider-Man. Probably 3. What? This is how you all learn I can't count. When you guys were giving me those super chats earlier, I assumed all of them were $1 million. I don't know numbers. Probably at least 4. The Avengers and the 2 Spider-Man movies. I think the interesting thing with Tom Holland is that he's getting like really into just the process of filmmaking. Like I keep seeing interviews with him and Christopher Nolan hanging out. Like there's the one where Christopher Nolan's telling him about just how like IMAX cameras work, and Tom Holland is like just enraptured. I easily see Tom Holland as he progresses into his career. He's very talented, so I'm looking forward to see what he does. I hope he gets better scripts for movies now, because for a while there, it wasn't looking too hot. I definitely see him eventually moving into probably like directing, right? Like directing, maybe writing some of his own stuff. Just because he seems very in love with the concept of filmmaking. Like, in 30 years, when he's in his 50s, we're gonna look back and be like, holy shit, he started as Spider-Man? But for the MCU, you know, it depends on what they do with Spider-Man. If they bring in Miles, I don't know who else they could bring in. A clone? That'd be weird. Good question, but it is a worrying thing that eventually we're just not going to get Spider-Man in the MCU anymore, which will be a sad day. What a downer. Thanks, Alex. Yeah, producing. I think he already has a production company. Tom is not leaving that suit. I would be shocked if Tom Holland doesn't have a suit that he just kind of puts on occasionally at his house. A Spider-Man suit that he, like, stole from the set or something. He's just flipping around doing fucking backflips. Hanging out with John Bernthal because they're, like, best friends, too. Oh my gosh, Mog, they're gonna Winter Soldier him? They're gonna cryo-freeze Tom Holland between movies. Keep him youthful and nubile. Sad New Day. Oh man. Yeah, I wonder what the naming convention of these next couple of Spider-Man films is gonna be. There's Brand New Day, One More Day. Those are the comic ones. I feel like they're gonna do One More Day for the last one. I feel like that just makes sense. Just like kind of like a bittersweet kind of way, especially if like they don't get something sorted out with the license for Spider-Man and Sony holds on to it. So we don't get another Spider-Man, or like, you know, if something happens and after this 6th movie, there's just not another Spider-Man standalone film in the MCU. Maybe he'll show up here and there, whatever. I think it would work pretty well if it's like Spider-Man One More Day. We're not going to see him, but we'll know he's there. Apparently he has a bunch of the suits. Doesn't surprise me. A Kingdom Hearts animated show is coming to Disney+. Hey, that just confirms what we discussed earlier, where Disney Plus's new kind of modus operandi is stopping live action shows and moving to like animated stuff that can appeal to younger audiences. Kingdom Hearts, I've never played it. I don't know. I'm not familiar. That's the key one, right? Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy? I think I always got those confused. One Last Day. Oh, man. One Last Day, and it's about Spider-Man getting cancer. Spider cancer. Radioactive spider cancer. And with that... hope you all enjoyed this about 3 hours. Who's hearting? Who's hearting this chat after I said the spider cancer thing? Hope you enjoyed this live stream. I will see you all next week for another one, assuming everything works out well. If not, I'll let you know, and I'll hopefully just get a pre-recorded one up discussing everything that has to do with D23. Almost forgot what it was called. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to those of you who did the super chats. I greatly appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Just everyone who has showed up and was, with me here for these 3 hours. Thank you so much. One last question from, looks like Logan Ritchie. I've never actually read Earth X by Alex Ross. I have watched the Comic Pop video of it, where, if I remember correctly, I think they snuck into, like, an interview room at a Comic-Con or something. But thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. And as always, let me know your thoughts in the comments below and whatever else is going on. And here's hoping we get some interesting stuff from D23, but I doubt it. I don't think it's going to be anything mind-blowing. Maybe a trailer for Vision Quest, a show about a robot hanging out with his robot dad. Bye, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in.